Hi guys, what's up? Welcome. Choppy on YouTube. I went viral on Reddit? Really? When? This week? To be honest, I haven't been using Reddit a lot because community can be a little bit toxic. We'll be starting very shortly, my friends, very shortly. Musket, I am using a Yeti Blue. It's an old version. I bought it like 4 or 5 years ago, but I've done a couple of changes, so I do have a little bit of what's it called, like a waveform thing that just makes my sound, or my voice sounds a little bit nicer. And I'm running NVIDIA Broadcast to remove the noise, because there's a lot of background noise here where I'm at. Rara P, thanks for the follow, man. If you're in Twitch, in just a second. There we go. Trying to find the doc here that tells me how many viewers we got on Twitch. 4 right now. It's fine. We haven't started yet, so don't worry. Al 3D dice: hola Abe, sé que es mucho pedir, pero podrías darme feedback del único trabajo que tengo en mi portafolio. Me apena tener solo uno por el trabajo como guardia de seguridad y no tengo mucho tiempo. Sí, claro. ¿Estás en Discord? Si estás en Discord, mándame un... ¿Cómo se dice? Mándame un DM con tu liga y ahorita lo reviso, ¿sale? Igual antes de que empiece el stream lo checamos. Sale, sí. Aquí ando. Creo que el chat en YouTube está un poquito retrasado. En Twitch lo tenemos así, creo que más en vivo. Bueno, nomás se los dejo como comentario. Vamos a estar en los dos, no se preocupen, pero... What am I doing talking in Spanish? You guys are like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking students, but we're gonna be doing this in English, of course. Of course. You felt like you were transported, David Handan? Yeah. Dijarish, Patade, Dijash? You guys have really complex names. It's very difficult to pronounce some of them sometimes. Happy New Year! Merry Christmas, guys! Yeah, I know it's night over there. It should be, if my calculations are not wrong, it should be like 7:30 p.m.? No, not 7. Yeah, 7:30 p.m. It's 8.5 hours, I think, right? No, a little bit more than that. No, it should be like 10:30 p.m. over there. There you go. Yeah, almost there. 10:20, yeah. And when I uploaded videos on the old channel, I always set it up to Kolkata, I think, or Calcutta, the Calcutta time. And it was almost like 12 hours. It was like 11 and a half hours ahead. Okay, so I'm doing a special favor today for Gerardo Retana Carranza from Querétaro, Mexico. Before we start today's stream, he wants me to take a look at his what's the word? At his portfolio. He has one piece, so we're gonna take a look. Then we'll go to the countdown, and we'll start today's stream. Okay, only this one, only this one. Let's see. There we go. So Gerardo, let's take a look. I see two of them. I'm gonna go for this one first. This was a fun one. Yeah, very nice. So I really like the design of the character. It's very original. It's kind of like a Frankenstein sort of thing, which is nice. I like a lot of this sort of like hand-painted things. The anatomy doesn't look that bad. There's of course a couple of things that we need to take into account, like the muscles here and the forearms. They should attach a little bit higher. Some more definition on certain areas, but this looks like a funny dude. It reminds me a lot of like Nickelodeon claymation things from the early 2000s. So for I would say if this is one of the first like full characters that you're doing, I think it's a really good result. The amount of detail and everything looks nice. Now, I do recommend to try and learn a little bit of the other softwares like Maya or Blender, whichever one you prefer. Because, for instance, this axe right here, it looks very lumpy. It looks like just clay, right? Like Play-Doh. So you definitely want to have some more hard edges, some more defined silhouette, things like that, to make sure that the character looks a little bit better. I like the pants. They do look a little bit too like thin. Usually pants are a little bit heavier, so you're not gonna have that sort of like thinness on this like back part right here. But this is a good start. I love the pose. Posing is really complicated. Oh, okay, you actually did this over here. Okay, be very careful here because it kind of seems like the sewing lines that you're using are not attaching like properly. I'm actually working on the what's the word? On a Marvelous course. It's going to be releasing very soon, hopefully next week. I'm literally in the like second to last chapter, so that one's going to be a fun one, and I explain how to properly create all of the garments here inside of Marvelous to get a better result when exporting and using them for your games. Vihira says, you have a huge followers in India. Yeah, thanks, man. I know. I've been working. Well, you guys know I worked for Nextut for like 2 or 3 years, 4 years, I think, and I got to know a lot of you guys. So hopefully now most of you are gonna be following this new journey of mine. Yeah, this is pretty cool, man. Even the renders, like here's what I can tell, Gerardo. You know the tools, like you've been really learning the tools, their workflows, right? You know how to sculpt, you know how to retopologize, you know how to do UVs, you know how to texture, you know how to render. So you already know the steps. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to start polishing those steps and be like, okay, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on certain things to make sure that every single element that I do looks the best that I can. One advice could be like, hey, I'm going to redo this weapon. I'm going to start from scratch, from zero, but now I'm going to spend more time on it and I'm going to make it look nicer, because that's what happens when you get to this point. At this point, again, I feel like you already know the pipeline. Like I don't need to explain to you about retopology or UVs or T-pose or things like that, because you already show me here that you know how to do it. What you do need to do is you need to start creating more quality content. It's like I'm going to use a Mexican what's the word? Example. Razvan Tiefelbauer. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the chat. So imagine you're preparing tacos, right? If you just like prepare the meat and add something super simple like some salt and pepper, it's gonna be a good taco. It's nice, you enjoy it, right? But if you spend extra time to let the meat season, to add extra little things like I don't know, garlic or parsley or like pineapple. I like my tacos with pineapple. Then you're gonna get a way more complex and way more interesting flavor, something that is nicer. It will require more time, it will require more money, it will require more investment in general, right, for all of the ingredients. Well, the same thing happens here with the characters. If you want to have a really big, really like impressive piece, you will need to spend the time. I showed you guys this earlier. Here, let me bring the Discord real quick. This one is available on the what's the word, on the live streams. Of course, we've been working on this for the past month, and it was the mask, right? This one. So this is the difference between a mask that I did in 2 hours versus one that I've spent like 12 hours working on, right? Now, could I've graphed this one and just retopologize, texture, and render? Yes, but it will not be as impressive as how this one will look once I'm done with that process, okay? So definitely art is one of those things that the more time you spend on it, the nicer things are gonna be. Tyson, what's up, man? Welcome, guys. Well, let's go back to our countdown right here. We'll start in just a second, guys. Just a second. That was just a bonus chapter here for our good friend Hal. Markel Mangas, un saludo desde España. Saludo, mi estimado. Saludo. Lately, Markel, I've been listening to this guy. It's a Mexican historian, but he's been quite controversial. And you know how there's always this sort of like fight between Mexicans and Spanish, like, oh, you conquered us, but no, we're this, and no, you're that, and it's a complex historical situation. But he says that it's thanks to Spain that we are where we are. So I actually agree with him. You guys brought a lot of things here, and here in Mexico, we're all mestizos. We're all mixed. It's a lot of intercultural appropriation or mixing that gave us our very flavorful country. So someday I'll go to Spain. I want to visit La Sagrada Familia. Seems like a very cool place to see. Two more minutes. Yeah, we have well, my parents, they have a very good couple of friends over there, and they've traveled a couple times to Spain, and they always visit. They have, or you guys have this dish. It's like I think it's egg and potato, and it becomes like a cake, not like a pancake. They do it on a pan, right? I don't know what the name is, but it's very tasty. Very, very tasty. It's potato. I do believe it's with eggs. And it's this sort of like thick cake. Oh, there you go. Alpha Omega. Oh, I thought you meant me, but it's Sarn. Yeah. I haven't added you on LinkedIn. You guys can add me as well. I'm always happy to connect. Did I have a good Christmas? It was a weird Christmas. It was a good Christmas. I enjoyed it. But you know, this year has been, and we'll talk about that, but this year has been very, very intense. So it felt like reaching the finish line, and I just wanted to rest and just recharge some energy, because it's been very, very, it's been a tough year, to be honest. What are we making today? Oh, you'll see. Well, I actually don't know. You guys are gonna let me know. We'll probably be jumping between different things. Un abrazo, Hal. Aquí estamos para lo que se ocupe. And there we go. Hello. What's up, guys? What is up, my friends? Welcome to the last stream of the year, the end of the year stream. My name is Abraham Leal, of course. You guys know that, Ave Leal. Priyanshu, what's up, my friend? Welcome to the stream. Daniel, Emmanuel, Yves Carey. We got Markel Mangas as well asking, do you know any school online or something on Spain? I would like to be a 3D character artist. I will go to Animum School Masters. A couple of years ago, when I first started learning about 3D, there was a school called Trazos. I'm not sure if they're still around, but they had a very cool program, to be honest. What are we cooking today? That's a good question. I actually don't have a plan. I wanted to start this stream by... what's the word? By just going over the things that we've done. So sort of like a little recap of the year, all of the projects that we've done on the YouTube channel, because I know we got a lot of new faces today. And there might be some people that haven't seen some of the things that we've done on the YouTube. And I know the YouTube algorithm might get lost every now and then. So we're going to go over that. And then we are going to do something. We're going to scroll, answer questions. I don't know. We'll just have fun. Sounds good? It's the end of the year. Like, no need to be stressed about it. Just have fun and relax. We're gonna do anything except for what Topi is suggesting, which is hairs in Blender. Now, I have a video about hairs in Blender, but it's a tricky process. It's not ideal. Live stream a Dungeons and Dragons one shot. My party, my brother and my brother-in-law, we play, but things get really intense, so I'm sure we would get banned if we tried that. Is the creation of stylized characters, Priyanshu is asking, and photorealistic characters different? From a tools perspective, not really. It's very similar, but from a technical perspective, yes, because you're going for slightly different things. So, or I would say more from like an artistic perspective. Are we gonna touch Substance Painter? We could, yeah. I was thinking about doing like Q&A session, so if you guys have specific questions, we can just go over them. But again, as I mentioned, I want to go and just look at some of the stuff that we've done throughout the years. Look at this, guys. Look at this. These are all of the thumbnails that I've done since we started the project back in June. And there's so many projects that we've done, so let's go over them real quick. This was a live stream that we did a couple of months ago. It was a very cool... I don't remember what we did in this one. I think it was my birthday live stream, probably. This was a 3D scan, so there's a video on the channel on how to do your own 3D scan if you haven't seen it. It's not perfect because I wasn't using like an amazing camera. I think I was using like a phone camera, but you can see that the results are not bad. Like, you can definitely work from this. These are the 3 courses that we have, by the way, for those of you, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the live stream. Right now, there are 3 courses available in Udemy. It's the Blender course, where we do the axe for games. It's the Oni course, where we do ZBrush. We do the high poly of this character. You could 3D print this character, by the way. And then there's the Maya Fundamentals course, where we go over this little pirate island, like animated pirate island. Major Easy says, I love the lava axe. I want to make the Oni next year. Yeah. And I got news for you, my friends. Well, we also got 7K here on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to YouTube, subscribe. We're actually like going very, very fast. I think yesterday I saw, like, this was 2 days ago. And then yesterday we were already at 7,100. So maybe we'll get by 8,000 to like mid-January or something. So for the next year, my friends, for the next couple of months, we're going to be doing a slight little transition, and we're going to start selling our courses, our premium courses, through our own website. Okay, that's going to be a little bit of a change. I know changing websites might be a little bit tricky, but it's so that we can offer you guys a better opportunity. Udemy is a really cool tool, but unfortunately we can't do giveaways very easily. We can't just like create promotions very easily. It's a little bit restricting in certain areas. So starting with the next course, which is going to be our Marvelous Designer course, we are going to be selling it through our own website. Some of the courses might still be published on Udemy or other sites. We're looking at more possibilities, but we are going to be jumping to our own website, the Aveliel 3D website. And later on, we might do something special in there as well. Let's see, we got a couple of questions. Emmanuel says, oh, that's a nice decision. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a tough one because Udemy does give us a little bit of exposure, which is always nice, but it's there. It says, Aki, but Sensei, in India, that will be... No. That's the thing, Aki. The thing is, we're going to try to keep the prices very similar to what we have in Udemy, so that it's, of course, affordable. The last thing that I want to do, guys, like, you know me. I've never been a greedy, like, bastard or anything. The last thing that I want to do is charge something that cannot be affordable. So we will make sure that you can like use it very nicely. The problem is that the fees and transactions and all that stuff, it really eats from the revenue that we normally get. So even though it might be cheap for you by buying them in Udemy, we lose quite a bit when we go from Udemy to our accounts. So that's why we're looking again at options. But believe me, trust me, I promise you guys that you will not be disappointed. Like they will not be like super expensive. I'm even gonna do regional pricings as well. So if I see that we have the option to price things at a specific amount in different countries based on, you know, incomes and things like that, we'll do it. Very similar to how they do it in Steam, where they sell the games and they might have slightly different things. Any chance on getting a certificate after the courses, as I value that aspect? Yes, we will get one. And actually, I want to get a more, like, a nice one, because Udemy, you only need to watch the course. And for my site, I want to have like a final exam where you present the work. And if you present and you get feedback, you fix the feedback and you get a nice result, then you get your certificate. So I want my, what's the word? I want to make sure that if you finish a course on my website and I give you the seal of approval, that seal of approval means something. Like, not anyone is just going to have it because they saw the course. They need to really finish the course and really show that they know the 3D skills. Let's see. Hanma says, I'm a bit confused about whether or not I should retopologize the inside of my garments on low poly, thickness of the cloths. It depends on the workflow. Usually, I would say no. Cloths are usually one of those things that you don't do both sides, except for thick elements like cloaks or skirts or things like that, where you might see on the inside, and especially if you want to have a different texture on the inside. But if not, then no, you don't need to retopologize. You just use a double-sided view. Yes, if the courses are not going to leave Udemy, and again, we're still going to be publishing some of them on Udemy, some like more, more fundamental ones on Udemy, but yeah, you'll still be able to get the certificates and everything. Cool. So let's see what else. We did tileable textures with AI. I know AI is a very contentious topic, but this is very cool. Marco, no, today we're not going to watch ArtStation. The next portfolio review is going to be on January. Eduardo, is there a spoiler for your next course? Yes, of course. The spoiler. You guys have seen the spoiler? This is the spoiler. We're doing a witch doctor by using Marvelous Designer. So it's a Marvelous Designer course. We're going to be exploring all of the tools inside of Marvelous Designer, and the final character that we're going to be creating is a witch doctor. Now, this one's already there. Like the classes to do this mask, if you want to do ZBrush, it's going to be there. But the premium course is only going to be focused on Marvelous Designer. Oh, this one was cool. If you guys haven't seen this one, the anchor points are one of the very like super strong tools that we have inside of Substance, and I do believe they're inside of Mari as well. I'm not sure if Mari has them yet, but anchor points are these things that you can use to get information from layers that you're painting, especially hide information, so that you can later on use generators like the Rust generator, the Metal Etchware. So this one, if you're using Substance Painter and you want to become like really good at it, you definitely want to know this trick. Priyanshu is asking, sir, are notes take a bit more time to learn? No, not really. Not really. This one was the different types of Arnold lights. We have 4 Arnold lights: environment light, area light, mesh light, and alt lights. Pau Vargas, hola. Hoy estamos viendo, today we're looking at what we did throughout this whole year, and then we're gonna just jump and do like something, probably in ZBrush. Is it still worth to use ZBrush for tile creation? Depending on the complexity, but mainly depending on your skill level. What I mean by this, Daniel, is if you already know how to use ZBrush, then yes, it's worth it. If you don't know how to use ZBrush to do tiling, then it might be worth it to learn Substance Designer, because you will have a little bit more control over it as well. Ipatek, what's up, my friend? This was the textures. We went over textures on this video. This was, what was this? Morph Target. I think this one was Morph Target. This is a recent one. We added details with the textures on ZBrush using a map. Oh, this one was fun. This was when the Starfield came out and we were trying to create like our own creature. I wouldn't say it was the most successful one, but I had fun on the stream. It was supposed to be like a fungi burr. It was fun. That was my birthday stream. We did a dwarf on that one. Blender 4.0 released this year. That was a big one. This is the AGX, like lightning profile that gives us a very photorealistic thing. Scratcherax, hola, hola. ¿Cómo estás, mi estimado? Bienvenido. This is the video I was talking about. Who asked? Topi, you asked about this one. It's on the channel. It's the hair system, the new hair system that's available on Blender. And it works a little bit more similar to Action, I would say. So instead of using particles, you use curves and descriptions to generate the whole element. So I would recommend that one. Hanma says, also, I'm having a bit of a trouble with Quadro. Whenever I try to use it, the faces end up going inside the mesh and then I can't select them anymore. Yeah, that's when you have like multi-layer meshes that you're trying to remesh. One option is to dynamesh everything into a single piece, but I know that that's not always an option. Technically, the new Maya 2024 should have a slightly better algorithm to handle that. This was Clay Render. I actually want to do a new one about Clay Render, but I want to do the full like environment. Blender 3.6 released as well. This was Marmoset. Marmoset. Wow, thanks, man. Hey, thanks for the donation, my friend. Says, hey, you have no idea how much your tutorials helped me to get a job and make a living out of this in this 3D industry. God bless you. God bless you too, my friend. Thank you very much. Let's take a look. Alpha Omega is asking, if I'm making a backpack for my game character, and this backpack consists of multiple subtools, do I need to join everything on the retopo stage, or is it okay to keep something as separate subtool? Straps, for example. You can keep them separate. It actually, I would say again, it depends a lot on the object, but you can keep them separate. Like, people have a very big fear about separate objects, and I'm gonna show you when I broke that fear. There was a game a couple of years ago, you guys might remember it. It was called a Dragon Age Inquisition. It won Game of the Year back in the day. I actually haven't played it. Oh my god, Razvan! 5 tier 1 subs. There you go. Thanks, my friend. Wow. I really appreciate it, man. And congratulations to all of the ones that got the gift. Remember that if you are subbed here inside of Twitch, you get a special role on our Discord as well. I'll get to the next questions in just a second, but this game right here, they had a making of, and they had a making of the main character of like the bull, and it was a YouTube video, very simple YouTube video, but that's where I learned that, hey, you can have a lot of different elements separated into multiple assets, bake them separately, and then at the end you just combine everything into a single geometry for rigging if you need to. And even then, nowadays you can definitely have multiple like skin clusters, they're called. Skin cluster is the thing that gets attached to your character, and it's not really that big of a deal. I was talking to a very good friend of mine. His name is Mark Conrad. He will probably be doing some courses next year for us. There you go. Thanks for the sub, man. Oh, we got the hype train. There you go. Wow, nice. Daniel subscribed. There you go. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, Mark Conrad might be doing some courses later on next year for us. He's an animator, and he was telling me that there's a lot of correction rigs that you do. So for instance, for a character like this bull right here, he would have the main like character rig, and then there will be multiple extra bones along the belt, so that when you're posing him, you can move the belt a little bit and generate something that looks like nice. So yeah, that's it. You don't need to have everything in a single cluster. That would be my answer to that. Let me move this so that I can see the chat a little bit easier. There you go. Priyashu says, sir, does movie and game studios use Ziva VFX for ultra realism? Yes, they will use Ziva FX. For those of you that are not aware, Ziva VFX is an amazing plugin. I personally have not used it because I've never had the need. Like, we've never worked here at the studio at such a big project that we need all of this deformation. But this system has to do with rigging. So if you're going to be using Ziva, that's because you're interested in like the rigging process. The way this works is you create muscles and attach muscles to a skeleton. And these muscles will inflate, like contract and expand based on the realistic way on how muscles contract and expand, and therefore you're gonna get a very realistic result on your characters. It's very expensive, like really expensive. So this kind of things is only used on very big productions, to be honest. Scratch Your Axe says, I today finished the chess set you thought. It was really fun working on, except the horse. Oh yeah, the horse is tricky, man. The horse is very tricky. How do you know how to use Fivershop? No, I don't. Fivershop, that's another great software. I actually got an invitation by them a couple of weeks ago to be like an ambassador, like this affiliate program. The thing about Fivershop, I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad software. But the thing about Fivershop is that you can do exactly what it does with other softwares, such as Action. Right? So if you already are paying for Maya, then paying for an extra software just to do hair, unless you're gonna do a lot of hair, again, it's up to you, right? But it's a really good software. Again, the only thing that this does is it bakes the hair. So it allows you to create this maps right here. So you create the hairs, you create all of the maps, the ID, the normal, translucency, all that stuff. You bake that information out into maps, but then you have to like manually place all of the stuff. So when you see all of this amazing models right here, all of this work is more about where and how to place the hair cars than it is actually to bake the materials of the hair cars. Because again, all of these things you can do even in ZBrush. I've seen some people do it in ZBrush. So I haven't used it. We might use it later on. And we got another follow by Yaxi Waxi. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the stream. We're having a great stream today. We are on the hype train. We can get to hype train. What's that? Hype train level 2. Oh, we're very close to hype train level 2. There you go. So, can your courses be available in India? Yes, of course. All of the courses are, like right now, the ones that are in Udemy, they're available in India, and you can, of course, and like the new ones that we're going to be creating are, of course, going to be available in India. Edgar Delgados. Ed DGC, mi estimadísimo, vengo de paso a saludar, te mando un abrazo grande y un excelente año nuevo. Gracias, Ed, muchas gracias. Aquí andamos. Oh, yeah, no, ya vi quién eres. Guys, if you're in YouTube, Ed is the one who created most of my most famous tutorials. He created Thyros, he created the sci-fi character Saria, he created the mechanical lion. He is the concept artist, Ed Fox. You can look him up on ArtStation. Please follow him if you're not following. Eduardo Dominguez right here. Make sure to follow him. 1,000 bits by Razvan Stealthbauer. Thanks, man. Thank you, my friend. Dude, you're giving so much today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm about to finish Tyro's great tutorial. Thanks, Nicolas. Yeah, I'm really proud about that one. I'm really proud. Thank you, my friend. Really, Razvan. I don't know how else to thank you, but to continue to teach you guys more and more of this. It's thanks to you guys that we've been able to like jump into this and do all of this. Happy New Year as well to you, my friend. And thanks again. Okay, do we have another question? Chila Kid has a question. It says, how was the technique used sometimes in games or movies to fill futuristic objects or ships? Oh, that's called Gribble. Gribble? Oh, how do you spell it? Gribble? No. Gribble with 2 E's. Gribble. So Gribble is this technique that they use in kit bashing, as Chila Kid is mentioning, and this technique is it's very good because it adds complexity to a surface without you really needing to think about like how things are gonna be like working, right? So you see this a lot in sci-fi stuff, but you can also see this in medieval stuff and everything. Like you can use this technique anywhere, which is just add elements bolts, nuts, pillars, cables, bends, and stuff like that. And it's just gonna make things look very complex. And your mind just see this as noise, like general noise, but it interprets it as something that's very, very complex. And you can see this, of course, on the Millennium Falcon. So if you take a look at the outer edge of the Millennium Falcon, you get all of this. Ergo Hash, thanks for the sub, man. Welcome to the stream. So this technique is very, very useful, again, to add complexity, and you don't really need to think about like all of the engineering that goes into it. It's also something that they use quite a bit in like Transformers. I'm not a huge fan of Transformers, to be honest. But if you look at the characters, like they're completely filled with details everywhere, and sometimes they don't even make sense, right? They just look cool. So that's Gribble for you. Let's see. Priyanshu says, "Sir, please share your experience about being a 3D artist at the start. What problems were faced by a 3D artist?" Well, there's a lot of imposter syndrome, I would say. Like when you first start, it's a little bit difficult to know or to feel like you really belong there. But once you get older, you just don't give a fuck anymore and you just do your work, right? But seeing people that are really, really good above you and knowing that it's going to take you a while to get there can be a little bit intimidating sometimes. So my advice is don't listen to those thoughts. Focus on what you're doing at that moment. Make sure that what you're doing with the best of your abilities. And very importantly, this is one of the best advices. And Fox over here can attest to that, because I did that with him when I was learning. I was telling you guys on one of the latest shorts and last stream that one of the first games that I was working on was Wetopia, and this was in a studio that's here in Mexico called CGBot, and that's where I met at 10 years ago or 12 years ago. So I frequently went to him. He was in the concept art department, and I would ask him questions about proportions, about design, about characters, and I would just learn because I knew he was way better than me. He still is way better than me, and I just like wanted to learn and learn more. So it's very, very important that you don't feel intimidating by people that are ahead of you in their career life or in their career profession, and just ask them questions, learn from them. That's why we have the motto, right? Which, by the way, we definitely need to get you shirts. I'm trying to look at how to sell the shirts somehow. It's probably going to be through our new website. So always learning, always improving was one of the things that I particularly kind of like kept telling myself is just keep learning, just keep improving, and little by little you're going to see the improvement. You're going to see how you change from an early stage all the way to the last part of your, or to the next part of your journey. Like I don't consider myself to be like the best artist out there. I know that I still have a lot to learn, but I do know that I've learned a lot. That's why I like to teach, because I know that I can teach you guys a lot of the stuff that I've had to learn throughout the years. But that doesn't mean that I don't have my own like idols and my own heroes in the industry that I look at their work and I just am completely impressed and I want to learn from them. So yeah. Scratcher X says that quote hits hard. Which one, Scratcher X? Let's see. What is art? What is art for you, Sensei? What is your view towards art and you think it's true piece of art? Oh, the one on the shirt? Yeah. Always learning, always improving. That's been my motto. Do you guys want to hear the real origin of that quote? I don't think I've ever shared this with anyone, like not even like my brothers or my wife or anyone. It's a very funny story. But it's one of those stories that, I don't know, it's just like chaos, right? So you just find something and then I kind of like started using it, and then it evolved from that like funny moment to my philosophy, for like literally my life philosophy. Okay, here it goes. It all goes back to Halo 2. No, Halo 3, actually. So back in the days of Halo 3, I had one of my best friends. He's currently living in Italy. His name's Alessandro. He and I would play a lot. But at that time, I didn't have an Xbox. So he had an Xbox. He was my neighbor. He lived like a couple blocks away from here, and we would play. And I remember sometimes I would even just like go to his house, and he was busy doing homework, and I would just play on his Xbox for a while. And there was a an achievement back in the day where you had to use the plasma grenades, and you had to stalk someone or like an opponent 2 times in a round, something like that. And I was just trying very, very hard. And of course, I was just like not focusing on the objective or anything. I just wanted to get the achievement. And someone messaged me back in the day. You could message anyone and just like send them whatever. And he messaged me a very, very toxic message, like, you suck, you should just break your Xbox, please go play with toys, like stupid stuff like that, right? And I remember feeling very, very bad about that. Like it really hurt me when I heard like this random from the internet just like flaming at me. And I just told myself at that moment, like, hey dude, chill, I'm just learning. And that kind of like became the start. And back in the day, again, in Xbox 360, you could add like a little quote, and I added that: always learning, always improving. And because I wanted to improve in Halo, right, back in the day. But then I just kept using that quote, and it evolved into my art quote. And then when I started my brand and my school back in 2015, 2016, the Critical Hit, that's when I was like, hey, this is going to be the quote: always learning, always improving. So now I no longer associated with Halo, of course, but that's how it started. That was the origin of the quote. A stupid guy flaming me in Halo 3 back in like 2010 or something. Oh god, let's take a look at some more questions, and then we'll go over the recap, and we'll do some fun stuff as well. It says, Jaxi Sawaxi says, do people in games and films ever talk about Cinema 4D? I have found that artists outside of the motion graphics realm look down. Yeah, they look down on it, and that's so silly. Like, I never looked down on softwares, to be honest. I made that mistake a couple of years ago. I was looking down at Blender. I always thought Blender sucked, and now I love Blender. So my view has changed throughout the years, and now instead of seeing a software as something to look down upon, I just see what tools are good for it. Cinema 4D is indeed better for motion graphics, so you will not see it as much in films or games, but you can still do things with it. The problem is, if you look online for tutorials about Cinema 4D, there are going to be very little tutorials about games and films, and you're going to see more about motion graphics. That's why people tend to go more towards that side of thing. Major Easy says, funny enough, I'm making the M7 SMG from Halo. I want to do a Halo helmet. I haven't done one in a while. Imagine that guy is your student now. That would be very funny. that would be quite the twist. Paras is asking on YouTube, hey, if we're creating portfolios to become character artists, having 2 or 3 pieces in portfolios enough? I would recommend at least 5 pieces. If you have 2 or 3 very strong ones, then you're fine. Like, you guys know Evgen, right? From the Discord? Like, his portfolio is like, damn. So if he only has like 2 or 3, then yeah, like that's enough. But he's been working really hard. Where is his stuff? Here we go. So Evgen right now only has 3 pieces, but look at the quality of the pieces. It's this environment right here. Like, look at the quality of the textures and the rendering. He's got this hard surface engine as well, and then he's got this character. So here's a different case, because Evgen has been working very hard on his stuff, and the quality of his portfolio, even though it's only 3 pieces, it's really big. So I've told Evgen, hey dude, you already have what you need to start like looking for work, go for it. But in a more like traditional, like when I was a student, I had 7 pieces on my portfolio when I graduated. Let's see. Is it okay for Scratcher Access asking, is it okay for beginners to switch back and forth between Blender and Maya? Because I find myself switching a lot and then I get confused. Yeah, doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't really matter. I switch back and forth all the time, so doesn't really matter. Right now, a couple of years ago, it was a little bit more difficult because companies expected you to only know one software, so that they didn't have to install other softwares because it's pricey. But Blender is free, so there's really not any issue to use Blender. However, if you're like, oh, I need to use Maya, 3D Studio Max, and Cinema 4D to do my workflow, then it's going to be a little bit complicated for companies to hire you, because it's just too many softwares that they need to pay for, right? But if it's free software, it's really not much of a deal. This was ropes. This is a question that we get asked quite a bit. It's like how to make ropes and chains inside of ZBrush. It's already there on the YouTube channel. This is the first sort of like big project that we did. It was the treasure chest. We did a blocking, modeling, more modeling, UVs, textures, bakes, materials. We even did rigging and animation. So if you guys don't or can't pay for a premium course right now, this is a perfectly good one to start learning about Maya and allow the process for games. You can see that this chest at the end was inside of Unreal Engine, so it's a good way to get your feet into the workflow, into the process. This one was very cool. I love Marmoset. Let's see. Grateful Pixel says, after learning the left click shift control commands, Maya is my favorite for modeling, hands down. Yeah, it's really good when you have all of the shortcuts available there. I still feel like Blender has some really cool things, like the arrays or the modifiers that Blender has, like the thickness modifier, the subdivision modifier. I like that process a little bit more, to be honest. But there's a lot, like the array modifier is really good as well. But yeah, Maya has some really strong options as well. Kaisen says, has anyone used a space mouse, and does it make it easier to switch between softwares? What is a space mouse? I'm guessing we're gonna get like literally a space mouse. Oh. Second. Ah, interesting. I've never seen this thing right here. Oh, I don't know if I would use it. That's really, really weird. I use a Logitech G600. Is that the one? Yes, this is my mouse, which is very, very good, and it has all of the like number path over here, so I can very quickly switch between things. So I really like this one. I was thinking next year of learning ZBrush and Maya. Is it worth learning most types of 3D software? Yeah, it's similar to Razer Naga. I used the Razer Naga for a long time, Stephen Bauer, but it broke. Like the second one that I bought broke very fast, and it was very expensive. So I just went for the Logitech one. It has like a little keyboard on the mouse. Will I do tutorials for Unreal? Yes, of course. What type of stuff would you like to save, Artistics? There are no links to Twitch on the YouTube stream. Oh, we can link it. Give me 1 second. That's an easy fix if you want to jump into Twitch. There you go. So yeah, you can go from YouTube to Twitch, no problem. The Razer Death Adder. Razer, I got this keyboard right here. I actually got it for my birthday. It was my birthday gift to myself. It's the Black Widow Mini Hyperspeed. It's really good. I like it because it gives me more space here on my element. Major Easy says, rigging assets and characters into Unreal and make it a usable asset. Yeah, we can do that. I actually, here's the thing. We're like changing things around. So the Plague Doctor that I'm doing, this one, have I shown you? Let me give you a sneak peek. Yeah, I bought it for the laptop as well. I strongly recommend it, Steve Bauer. It's really, really good. Really nice. How can we become 3D generalists? Paras is asking. Well, you need to know a little bit about everything. That's the way to do it. Is Maya good for product advertisement and simulation? Yes, Bifrost is really powerful if you want to do that sort of stuff. So this is Marvel's Designer. For those of you that have never seen it before, it's a really, really powerful software, and it's very cool because you literally just simulate the cloth, and it will give you like cloth simulations very, very fast. So if you want to do like a lot of stuff, you can do it here instead of Marvelous. And on the course that I'm preparing, chapter 1, as always, is sort of like an introduction to the interface, the tools, a couple of exercises to do, and then starting chapter 2, we jump into we jump into the character, which I want to show you. I haven't really like worked a lot on it this last couple of weeks, but I'm gonna be like continuing very soon. So this is a little bit of a sneak peek of how this is gonna look. There we go. There you go. So right now he looks like a ninja, but once you put in the doctor's mask on top, it looks very, very cool. So we're gonna finish the gloves. There's a couple of more extra elements that we need, like a cape and some belts and bags and things like that. But yeah, this is like, I believe, out the way to chapter 3, and then chapter 4 is the accessories, and then chapter 5 is rendering, and we're gonna have chapter 6 where we're gonna see a couple of extra tools here inside of Marvelous to make to learn a little bit more about the software. Andy the Leech, thanks for the sub, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Well, I'm not sure if you just landed, but if you did, welcome. There we go. So there's another question here by Hudson. What is Unreal? Priyanshu, you don't know what Unreal Engine is? Have you been living under a rock? Unreal Engine is a video game engine. So this is the tool that you use to build a video game. It has all of the programming that you need to do it. Actually, let me show you. I'm very proud of this one. This what's the word? This semester I taught Unreal Engine at the university, and I was asked to go a little bit over particles, and I did some particle exercises that are very cool. Let me show you. But yeah, Unreal Engine is literally a game engine where you do the programming, and when all of the 3D assets that you're doing go there, that's where you see the animations, the models, the textures, everything, and this is where everything becomes a game, and you finally like package and just like sell it, right? That's the forbidden keyboard, no number pad. Oh yeah, but that's why I got the G6 mouse, because my number pad is on the what's the word, on the mouse. So I don't need the number pad on the keyboard. It frees me again a little bit of space, especially for my drawing tablet. Yeah. There we go. Look at this. So the thing that I love about the new Unreal is that the particle system that you use, it's called Niagara, and it's a very, very cool particle system because it's very flexible, it's very modular. So once you understand like how particles work, like on this guy right here, you can generate something that looks very, very nice. Hey, where's the burst? We had a burst. Where is my burst? There was like an explosion. There you go. Nice. It's like a magic attack where she gathers energy and then boom, splashes everything. And you got particles and smoke and everything, and it's relatively easy to do. It's not like super complicated, to be honest. And this is just like fireflies and stuff like that. So yeah, Unreal Engine is a game engine where you can build your own games. I am not a game developer in the programming sense. Like I don't do a lot of programming. I know the basics of programming, but I don't do like that's not my main focus. My main focus is art, but I need to know the engine because a lot of the things that we do, they get sent to that place right there. We did this coin. This is another tutorial. The full tutorial is available. We got the coin and then the texturing. Yeah, that's there we go. We use bas relief to make a coin, and then we use substance painter to give the very, very nice texture. Roma, what's up, my friend? Render engine, render stuffs. Game engines handle a bunch of other stuff as well. Yeah, that's right. That's right, my friend. Yeah, game engine allows you or allows the player to input things into the engine and like generate actions. Render engine is just the generation of the render, the image. Let's see. I need Unreal Basic tutorial. We can do that. We can definitely do that. I want to do, this is something that has been asked. So it's probably going to be, I don't know, what do you say, Sarn? Should it be for like April? Probably April. March or April, an environment for Unreal. So it would be like an introduction to Unreal Engine, a creation of the environments, like modular environment pieces and things like that, and then we like get everything into Unreal to create like a little environment. I think that would be very cool. Yeah, right. Like this cool. This coin looks very legit. Ed. I know. Let's see what else. We got this depth of field, very simple trick inside of Blender. Oh, this is the Weapons of Legend. That one was a cool one. There you go. Thanks for dude. You were giving away subs and you did not sub yourself. But there you go. You're the important one right now. Thanks for all of the support, man. So this Weapons of Legends was the first contest that we did here on the channel. And I enjoyed it quite a bit. I know that the results at the end were a little bit controversial. I promise you that was not my intention. So we have learned about that. We will do more contests soon, and we will be more specific and precise about the rules so that we don't get any misunderstandings. So yeah, that one was a fun one. Aki says, you have made lots of courses. Which one is the most close to your heart? Oh, that's a deep question. I would say it has to be Thyrus. Let's go. Let's go to the Vault of Secrets here. So yeah, I think this one was probably like the culmination of the courses, because not only was this concept, by the way, was by Ed Fox. He did the concept for this character. So not only was I able to do the full workflow, I love the results. Like for younger Ave, when I was just starting as a 3D character artist, I'm getting teary and everything. When I was just starting as a character artist, my goal was to be able to make characters at this quality. And being able to see it, it was like, damn, you did it, man. Like, you really learned, you really improved. And now here's your result. Unfortunately, the only like bittersweet thing about this character right here is that it's not on this brand right now. It's on the old channel. So I don't get anything. Yes, this model is ready to be rigged. I do a simple rig so that we could post it, but this one is ready to be rigged. So yeah, Andy the Leech. Oh, with the spicy question right there. If you would give yourself feedback on Thyrus, what would you say? That's a great question. So the beard, I would definitely go over and redo the beard. I feel like, and I've gotten this critique quite a bit. It's like it just looks like a fake beard. And I agree. Unfortunately, when you're recording, because that's the thing, like this character, not only did I do it for myself, I did it for a tutorial. So when I was recording it, I can't spend like stupid amounts of time because then it becomes boring and no one sees it. So yeah, one of the eyes is supposed to be blind. I would probably change that as well, just add a little bit more blood or something. The other eye is supposed to be like a normal eye. So I would definitely change that. I would definitely change this strap right here. I baked it down instead of having it as a what's the word, as a mesh. So it does look like it's painted on. It looks a little bit weird. I would change the hands a little bit. I feel like they look a little bit weak. Like they could look a little bit stronger, you know, a little bit more detail on the wrinkles and things like that. I would say that's pretty much it. Like if I could just go back and change a couple of those elements, I would probably change that. I would probably fix a little bit of overlap that I have here on the axe. So there's details, of course. But again, as I was saying, the one of the challenges, especially, that's one of the reasons why I switched to my new brand. When I worked on the old brand, I had a specific amount of time that I had to cover, and I couldn't go over it or I couldn't go under it. So sometimes I need to stretch things out, and sometimes I need to like compress things down, and I really didn't feel as comfortable. So now with my brand, I decide if I want to do a short course, I do a short course. If I want to do a long course, I do a long course. I have complete control over what I want to do and then what I want to teach. So I know that if I wanted to do a course on beards, I could spend 10 hours doing the beard for this character and just like have fun there, right? But yeah, Pau, one of the things that, yeah, once you see your work, there's always going to be things. But this is the thing, this is a very cool secret. When you're watching your work and you're critiquing yourself, you're your own worst critique because you know more about your work than everyone else. Some of you guys might not have noticed the things that I talked about, like the overlap that we have here on the axe, right? Because that's not the things that you normally see. So don't be too harsh on yourself. And very importantly, never talk bad about your artwork. If you think your artwork is bad, it shouldn't even be in your portfolio. Like, plain simple. If you feel like there are things in your work that can be improved, talk about that. Talk about how they were challenges and what you did to overcome those challenges, especially when you're in an interview, right? Like, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, this is my work, it sucks, but yeah, you know, I did what I could. Screw that. Like, that's gonna hurt you more than help you. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, like I know the hair might not have the best result. It was very challenging for me. It was one of the first times I was trying this sort of like hairstyle, and I had a little bit of a difficult time. If I had to do it again, I would use more references. I would take a little bit more time. Like, if you talk about what challenges you had, how you overcame them, and how would you fix them on the future, that talks way better about you as an artist. Let's see, like the tiny details are often not even visible in the game unless you're really zooming. Yeah, and I think I talked about, because I was talking to a cousin of mine about that. He's like, oh, why do characters look so good on the renders and then they don't look as good on the games? It's like, because you need to compress so much. Like, you've seen like Rafael Grassetti, right? Like, if you see his Kratos sculpt, it's freaking amazing. It's like perfection. It's like Michelangelo's David. But then you see it on the game and it doesn't look like as impressive as the ZBrush render or as the Maya render. So there are, of course, especially for games, you need to make compromises. Let's see. Hola, Master Will. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the chat over here in YouTube. Moose Korean says, hey Abe, I'm a junior in college with a 3D minor. Honestly, you're a great professional in my eyes and have passion that tops the courses. Hope your brand blows up. Thanks, my friend. We've been working really hard this past couple months, and I mean, so far we've got great response. So I'll keep doing this. I'll keep doing this as long as I can. Let's make something like this again. Better, bigger. Yes, Aki, I agree. We need to do a new character. I want to do a female character. I haven't done a female character, like fantasy female character, in a while. Maybe I'll ask Ed to help me out on that one as well, on the design. But that one's gonna be a little bit later in the year, I think. Let's see. Piranha says, sir, can you make a complete animation course for Maya with muscle system covering all aspects? Okay, you're confusing two things there, Priyanshu. I can like talk about that, sort of like deformation systems, but deformation systems or muscle systems, they have to do more with rigging than they have to do with animation. If you're using a muscle system, once you animate, all the deformation is supposed to be taken care of because of the muscle system. So you don't need to be animating every single muscle. The muscle system does it on its own. But again, it's heavy. It's not for every production. Yeah, look at Total War Warhammer. It's a perfect example. Look awesome in ArtStation and all right in game. Yeah, exactly. Or even like League of Legends. Like you see the games in or the models in game, and they look very basic, very simple. And then you see the splash arts and the cinematic renders and everything. And you know, like there's always compromises when you're jumping from one point to another. This is something that I didn't share. I don't know why I didn't share it. Some of you might not be aware, but I worked for this commercial right here. This is one of my highlights from a couple of years ago. One of my favorite projects to work on. So I worked on this Diablo Immortal commercial for or with Impossible Objects, and I was in charge of doing the textures for the Barbarian. So all of the textures that you see here, the skin textures, the metal textures, the axe textures, all of this, the bone textures, those were my textures. Amazing project that I worked on. Will says, por favor, haz un curso de animado, un comercial publicitario en Maya. I don't think I've done like an object or product advertisement. Yeah, we can do something like that. I'm not sure if I want to do like a full course about that, to be honest, but I can definitely do like a YouTube video talking about like important aspects. Product render animation, like a Hershey's bar, things like that, right? Yeah, this was a fun project. This is today's stream. The eye setup, that was a fun one. The Weapons of Legend, we did the extra live stream. The Oni character. If I can afford a resin litter in the next couple of months, I'll print this guy. I really want to have a statue of this guy like 3D printed. Like for instance, this one, look at the hands on this one. Way better than Thyros, right? Like they look stronger. Because when I finished Thyros, I was like, next hands I do, I really want to spend enough time on them. And that was one of the goals for this one. Same for the straps. Like every single strap that you see on this character was sculpted in. Like there were no straps that were just like painted in or anything. So that's always learning, always improving. You learn something and on the next one you improve. And that's how you grow. That's how you become an amazing artist. Eshu says, I'd like to learn about game character rigging just for portfolio. Which course would you prefer? I don't have a rigging course under this brand yet, but we will have one later. I actually have a character that I want to do. It was shown to me by a student not so long ago. Let me see how fast I can finish that character, because I think that would be an amazing character to show rigging. The thing about rigging is if you're doing humanoid riggings, there's a lot of free options out there that are really good and that are gonna make it so easy for you. There we go. Thanks for the follow, Far Apple Monster. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. What kind of polygons are these renders roughly, Mistran? So this one is quite optimized because this is a game asset. So I think the axe was like at 17,000 triangles. So it's not like super optimized, but it's like optimized enough. This is a high poly. So this is a sculpted render. This has no UVs. All of the things that you're seeing here is poly paint. This was rendered in Maya, I think. I'm pretty sure this was Maya. So we did the course is the Oni, and the free chapter is doing the base with the tree and this like stone and things like that. So now, like if I had resin, I could print the whole thing in a big element. Freelancing, I don't think I released this video. Remember, Sarn? This was one of the videos. This was one of the videos that we did. And we like Sarn helps me a lot with like feedback here. So sometimes I show him the videos and he was like, nah, this might not be as great. So we canceled this one out, but I do want to talk about freelancing, not in a short amount of time, like soon. I would would love to rig and get this character ready for games. I would love to do this with hand-painted textures, but I need to reach out to the artist again and ask for his permission, because he did give me permission. His name is Max Slavsky. So Max, am I gonna give him a shout out? Of course, Max Slavsky. Yes. So Max Slavsky is this amazing concept artist, and I found this Oni he did 7 months ago, and like he had very recently finished this one, and I just like asked him, hey, could I do a 3D render for this, a course, and he was cool with it. So I need to ask him if he would be cool for me to do a couple more series. It will probably be one series for optimization and rigging, and or for like retopology and texturing, and then another one for rigging and animation. But yeah, this could become kind of like the new Thyros, I think. Let's see, we got more questions over here. My Substance Painter cannot work with 4K textures because of my integrated AMD GPU to be and crashes temporarily on 2K. So how to be? Yeah, unfortunately, my friend, the 3D world does require you to have a strong computer. So my advice is try to save, try to do some side jobs if possible to buy yourself a desktop computer or a laptop with a more powerful graphics card, because unfortunately there is a sort of like a bottleneck with that sort of stuff. This Oni always reminds me of Hellboy. Yeah, it has a Hellboy vibe, right, Aki? If you would texture the Oni, could you export the polypaint as a base for your color map? Yes. But, well, yes, but you would still need to bring in the retopology to get the UVs and then bake the polypaint into the UVs, and then you could use that as your base, yes. Steffel Bauer says, as a hobbyist, I found it pretty hard to make it the Oni model as you did on the course and started one of my own, a Jedi Master. But in my steps and in my time, you know, family, children, yeah, I totally understand. Would you recommend stay day and night on the project or take your time? No, take your time. Dude, no, take your time. Like even myself with this like content creation and all that stuff, I take my time. It's we tried, David and I tried this approach, and you guys, if you guys have been following since June when we started, we were doing one video every day, one short every day, and one live stream a week. And after 2 or 3 weeks of going like at that rate, plus my day job and my studio and everything, it was just like unachievable, impossible for me to keep on. So we've been trying different approaches, different schedules, trying to see what fits. And the best thing that I found is you need to just like be comfortable doing it. If you're one of those peoples or persons that can work like non-stop for hours at a time, I mean, go for it. I personally am not, so I prefer to take my time. So yeah, my advice would be take your time, my friend. Now, another advice for you, Bauer, and for everyone else is if the project seems too overwhelming, try to focus on a specific area. Maybe just like a bust, just the torso and the head, maybe just like the armor for the arms. And if you do it in chunks, you can also learn all of the skills that are important to know without like really burning yourself. I need to delegate the work. I would delegate the work, Roma, if I had the if I had a little bit more income to do so. But since we're just starting the what's the word, the revenue and everything, it's good. I mean, it allows us to support the channel and the project, but it's not yet like I'm not Mr. Beast, right? Where I could hire like editors and what's the word, and more people and stuff like that. So maybe later, but right now I do need to work, which I enjoy. I really enjoy it, to be honest. Razor says, I recommend CG Dive for rigging characters using Rigify add-on in Blender. His tutorials are so good. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I usually don't do rigging in Blender because I prefer animation in Maya, so I do rigging in Maya, but it can be done. How do you create see-through glass effect in Substance Painter? Oh, that's a great question. Let me show you real quick. So first of all, you're gonna need the newest version of Substance Painter. I believe it's version like 8 point something. Not yet. Yeah, that's right, Tsar. Not yet. Later on. We'll get there. We'll get there. So let's go File. And there's a sample actually here. This one. So you need to set 3 things for like a glass to work on your scenes inside of Substance. Let's say, for instance, well, you can see it right here. So as you can see, you're not gonna get the most amazing glass effect on the viewport. It's gonna be like a preview, but it's still gonna give it's still gonna be quite a nice one. So if we go here to the tableware, There we go. And here we should have the... Where is it? Table over transparent. There we go. So on the translucent, as you can see, we are using this translucent shader. So on the options over here, you need to change this to the metal roughness material. And then on the texture set settings, you need to make sure that you have a translucency, absorption color, and sometimes you can use like this code colors if you want, but primarily you need this translucency and absorption color. Once you have that, here on this element right here on the layers, you're gonna see that the glasses, if you grab this base layer, which is the base glass layer, down here, you're gonna have the translucency and the absorption turned on. If I turn them off, you're gonna see that the glasses are gonna become opaque. They're gonna be made out of like plastic or porcelain or something. There you go. So if you do this, this is what you're gonna get. But if you turn on translucency and absorption, you're gonna be able to have two new elements over here. Get translucency channel and absorption color. And by modifying those, you're gonna be able to get a glass effect. I have a video, a full video about this on the channel, on the YouTube channel. So you might wanna check it out as well. Cover a crystal texture as well. Yeah, that would be a nice one. Let me... I've been wanting to do like a magic crystal for a while, but it does take a little bit of time. If you really want a good result, you really need to spend a little bit more time. I get a bit of bad textures in Substance Painter. Oh, I will need to see the textures. If you want, you can submit them on our works in progress channel in Discord, and people there are also very good at giving you feedback. Let's see. Podría ser un curso de solucionando problemas comunes en Arnold Render. Yeah, that sounds good. Arnold common problems. Again, a lot of these ideas that you guys are giving are great. They might not be worth it for a full course, I think. That's why I was telling, like, I hate like selling or promoting courses that are not like something that you can learn on YouTube or on Google. So, but yeah, that's a good idea for a YouTube video. I will do it on YouTube. Do you have a Maya Complete Realistic Arnold Render course? No, I don't, but I've been asked by that one quite a bit. Now, on the YouTube channel, we do have this one right here, where I go over skin. We're gonna get there. There we go. So it's this one right here. I show how to do the skin texture inside of Substance, and then I show how to do the shading inside of Maya. We also have the video for the mustache and the little beard right there. So it should be a good primer if you're getting into Arnold. There you go. That's the video for glass. I think this was the first video that I did, or one of the first videos. We did a short as well. This is using the curves inside of Maya to get this. This was the Halloween special. That was fun. Alpha Mega, where can I find good fabrics, micro textures? Can find nylon. Substance 3D Assets is the best one, but you do need to pay. You can try in Substance 3D Share. There might be someone over there. Yeah, exactly, Miss Chan. And you also need volumetrics to get the crystals to look nice. So that's why it becomes very expensive. Games, there are ways to kind of like fake it, but yeah, it depends on what you want to do. Igor Vorovev says, hi, where can you recommend to find a job in gaming industry except for LinkedIn? ArtStation has a lot of things. ArtStation has a lot of people there, like promoting their work. That's an option. And my best advice, Igor, is look for what industries or what small studios are in your city or close to you. And just asking there is a good idea to start. Kirill Krylov says, sorry, a bit late. Happy upcoming new year. Lots of fun, great success, and lovely year. Thank you. And don't worry, you're not late. You're just in time. How about rendering super quality characters in Unreal Engine 5 tutorial? I did that on the we could do a little bit of that, like metahumans and stuff like that. Metahumans rendering in Unreal Engine 5. I'll add that to the list. There you go. This one was fun. I haven't finished this little imp right here. I really want to finish him as well. This one was this one was funny because it was very controversial on the YouTube comments. The hand painted style. Some people were really offended that I was showing how to do this process because they thought I was being disrespectful of the people that do like hand painted textures. It's like, oh, this is it's fake. It's not like I don't know. It felt like purists or something. Like they didn't think that it was. I don't know. They agreed that it looked good, but they were like, oh, this will never compare to hand painted textures. Like, I mean. Not really, but still a good result, right? Like if you want to do something relatively fast, you can get something that looks nice, which was this. And then, of course, to shut everyone up and show you guys that we can do it, I did the hand-painted style. Where is it? Oh, we'll get there in just a second. But we did the stream with the Mind Flayer, remember? Where we did the hand painted. There we go. That was the stream. And that was the result. The hand painted textures. There you go. Piraj says, does programming language really important to... No, it's not important to learn programming language because you use something called visual scripting, where the blueprints are the ones that are doing the whole thing. However, I would say programming is more about like the way you think. If you start thinking like a computer does, like understanding the statements, if else, booleans, floats, like if you understand the core concepts of any like scripting language, it really helps to be able to troubleshoot things that happen inside of Unreal, in the programming side of Unreal. Sajan says, sir, please make a game ready hair male and female complete course. Yes, that one's on the horizon. It's going to be an X-Gen course where we go over like a couple of different hairstyles for production. That one's definitely on the horizon. Hi, do you know why Maya is crashing when I want to say paintable texture map with X-Gen? No, I'm not sure, man. We'll need to check your file. Is it possible to change hair color in X-Gen Maya? Kind of cheetah hair? Yeah, of course. You can draw a color texture in Substance Painter and put that into Maya. Yeah, you can definitely do that. That's a video. Yeah, that's a good idea for a video. So X-Gen color from texture. There you go. So we got a question on over here in Twitch that says, what are the upcoming courses? January is the Marvelous Designer course. That one's going to release on the first half of January for sure. And it's going to release, as I was mentioning, on a new website, on my new website that we're working on. Once that one's done, February, we're going to have our live workshop. That's going to be a special class where you guys are going to be, it's going to be called Portfolio Workshop. It's going to be limited amount of seats. If we see a lot of demand, we might open 2 groups, but it's going to be a live class where through 8 weeks, I'm going to help you develop a really impressive like portfolio piece. So you're going to have 2 months to create like a freaking amazing piece. And I'm going to be helping you with feedback, like personalized feedback along the way. That one's going to start in February. And on February, I'm probably going to be doing a Substance Painter course because we've been asked for that one quite a bit and we don't really have it. And there's not a lot of offer either. So we're going to have probably a Substance Painter course later, probably on that's what, February. On March, I definitely want to go back to ZBrush and it's probably going to be like some sort of like creature course. And so far, that's the plan for the first trimester of the year. But other courses that we want to do is, of course, action, rigging, animation. What else? There was another one that someone like a female character, like a full pipeline. Like there's a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of things. What would be the value cost of class 1? I'm not sure yet. We're still discussing, but it's hopefully going to be affordable. It's definitely going to be a little bit more expensive than a course because on the course, well, the course is just out there, right? And this is more of a private, but it's going to be 8 sessions of, I think we said like 2-hour sessions. So it's like 16 hours of private class with a group that's going to be focused solely on creating a really, really strong portfolio during that workshop. We'll make it what's the word? We'll make it as affordable as we can, based of course on the time and everything. Let's see. Do you think it's worth it to learn some programming like Python for Maya? Maybe not learn it so that you can create your own tools. Like I do think that's a little bit of an overkill, especially for an artist. But I would definitely say that it's important to understand it so that if you get a script and you want to like modify certain things or certain little elements, you kind of know what to do or how to do it. I took some Python classes when I was at Noman, so it is important. My friend Andy says, my friend is an ultra purist. He won't use Texture Program. He only uses Photoshop with UV Snapshot. Oh my god. And he imports random images and calls all who uses texture programs bad artists. Yeah, I mean, to each their own, right? Like, you can't really change someone's opinion. And that's one thing I always tell my students, that there's a big difference between production artists and artists, or like passion artists, if you want to call them. If you're going to be doing your own stuff, you're not under a budget, you're not under time constraint, you're not under any sort of like, I don't know, like control or anything, then do whatever the hell you want. If you want to paint your textures with markers and then scan them and then place them on your UV and generate the hand painted textures, go for it, right? But if you're working at a production studio, if you're working for a project, there's going to be time constraints, there's going to be money constraints, there's going to be other teams that are waiting for your stuff to be finished. So you need to start using the tools so that you can get the result. That's it. The result is all that matters in production. It doesn't really matter how you get there. Chris Orochi says, "Hi Abe, I recently come to know that Maxim bought the ZBrush from Pixelogic." Yeah, and capitalism. That's the real reason behind it. It was just capitalism. They offered a good amount of money and the creator sold it. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Unfortunately for us, we did lose the like free updates. I was an owner of a license. I mean, I still own it, but now I need to pay a monthly to get my new tools and stuff like that. So yeah, unfortunately that's the result, or that's how it is. The live sessions are going to be held in Discord. So we're going to have a private Discord group inside of our server. There's going to be a private chat. There's going to be a private classroom, and they're going to be held roughly at this time, like at this hour. It's probably going to be on the weekends, on Saturdays, so that people on this side of the world, on the Western Hemisphere, can connect early on Saturday, and people on the Eastern side can connect late on Saturday. Hopefully that's a schedule that everyone can commit to. And it's going to be inside of the Discord. So the payment's probably going to be through PayPal or something, and then the Discord is going to be our meeting ground. Sayan says, "I want to thank you for all your courses from Nextdude and from your YouTube channel. After learning all the stuff, I got a job as a 3D character and props artist." There you go, Sayan. Congratulations, man. I'm so happy to hear that you guys are getting jobs thanks to the content that I'm sharing. It really is very, I don't know, it feels very nice. And yeah, I don't want to get like the wrong message out here, guys. I know that I'm no longer at Nextdude, but I'm really proud of all the work that I did. So if you go back to Nextdude and you buy any of the courses that I did, I can guarantee that you're going to learn stuff because I put my whole heart in those courses. I will not be getting a single penny or a single cent, unfortunately, but you guys are going to be getting the information. So it is valuable information. I'm going to be creating pretty much all of those courses, re-update them with new stuff over here. But yeah. What are the archmages in Discord? Yeah, there are server boosters. So if you boost the server on Discord so we can get emojis and things like that, you get a special role as well. Have you thought about a hard surface sculpting course, something as detailed as Chaos Masons? See, I'm not really a hard surface guy, so I'm not sure if I can go to that level of Chaos Mason, but definitely a hard surface like introduction. I think I can do that. How to pick a project. This one's very important, guys. I've shared this one before. If you haven't seen it, there's even like a PDF with like a little like a chart that you can follow to pick the best project. I've been using it for myself and it really works. That's this one. Actually, this is the guide. So if you want this one, it's available. You can print it and have it like in the big stuff, in the big, I should actually print it and have it over here somewhere. But yeah, this is my workflow on how to pick a project. I first decide if I want to learn something, if I want to create a portfolio piece, or if I would just want to have fun. And then depending on what I want to do for that particular project, I follow the lines. Why did I leave Nextdude? Because our creative directions were a little bit different. The Nextdude team wanted to do certain types of things, certain types of content. I didn't particularly like that direction, and I was just an employee. I never like I was never like on the top like hierarchy, but I was the public face to the channel, right? And once like things were not like sounding or looking the way I wanted to do it, I just decided that it was better to step down. So I was not fired or anything. I personally decided to leave Nextdude. Yes, News. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, we are going to have anatomy courses as well. We are going to have anatomy courses. If you go to the Discord channel and you go here to the resources folder, this folder will take you to Google Drive. This is our Google Drive folder. So all of the exercises and things like this are going to be here. And you can see that it's right here. This how to pick a 3D project JPEG. So again, you just go to the Discord. You go to the resources right here. Go to this Google Drive folder. And you can download. You can download this, you can download brushes, you can download textures. I got some C tools and Blender files and a little bit of everything. But yeah, yes, we're gonna have an anatomy course. Thank you. Anatomy is probably gonna be April or what's the word? Or March. It's gonna be soon because I definitely want to do one very, very soon. That was the Huion tablet review. Huion, please sponsor us. I would like to have a bigger tablet. That would be fun if I could have like, they have like 24-inch like 4K screen. Oh, that would be sexy. That would be very, very nice. This was a fun one, and it kind of puts things into perspective, guys. Oh, it really brought back some memories. So I started streaming and doing content around 2021, I think. But I started doing tutorials all the way back to 2018. The first couple of tutorials were for another company called Victory 3D. I did 3 tutorials for them. A ZBrush creature creation, a male character creation, and a female character creation. The female one is one of my favorite ones. You probably have seen it around. Nowadays, it definitely looks a little bit outdated, and some of the techniques are outdated. Victory 3D female. This one. Mythological female character creation. There was this Freya character. That was back when God of War was like all the hype. So yeah, I did the Freya one. So that was one of the first tutorials. And then Nextwood found me and I started working with them. And you can see this was the old studio and this was the other, well, the next old studio. And now here I am in this new studio. How did you start teaching? That's a very funny anecdote. You guys want to hear it? There you go. Yeah, no, I remember, Roma. Of course, I remember you. Will you post more courses on Skillshare in the future? Shivam, we're going to be going into our own site very soon. So the problem with these things, Udemy, Skillshare, is that they take a very big cut from the revenue, and it's been a little bit tough to keep up with that. So we're going to try a slightly different strategy. It's not going to hurt you. You're going to see the same prices. You're going to see very similar pricing structures. So it's not really going to hurt you guys as students. We always try to be as flexible and affordable as possible, but hopefully that will give us a little bit more of a wiggle room as well. Do I have a 3D printer? Yes, I do have a 3D printing. I have an Elegoo Marsh 3. I haven't used it in a while because I don't have resin right now, but I do have a 3D printer. Okay, so how did I start teaching? I was not expecting to be a teacher, to be honest, when I started my 3D career. I first started when I learned 3D, I went to a school that was called Ethos. It was in Monterey. And I learned there. I then went to work. And then I came back a couple years later and they were like, hey, could you teach a ZBrush class? And I was like, yeah, I'll do a ZBrush class. And when I was there were 2 students, Sergio and Gibran, very good friends of mine. And they were from here, from where I am, from Saltillo. And we were in Monterey, which is like 1 hour away from us. And I asked them, hey, why didn't you guys study 3D back in Saltillo? Why are you traveling all the way to Monterey to learn 3D? And they were like, oh, because there's no one in Saltillo teaching 3D. And I got like a light bulb idea, like an illumination. I was like, oh, you know what? I mean, if there's no one there, might as well do it myself, right? And I did. I started my academy. Let me show you some pictures. Let me see if I have it over here. Yes, okay. So back in 20 Critical Hit Student Academy. This was back in 2015, I think I started. You're gonna see some very old school pictures of myself. Let's see. There we go. So way back. I'm talking again like 2015. This was the little room that we have. So it was 5 computers. You can see me there with my crazy hair back in the day. We have 5 computers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those were the 5 computers that we had. And I was in the center there teaching. We had a software that I used to share screen and stuff like that. And that's how it started, in a small little room in my parents' house. This is how Critical Hit started. This was 2016. That was the beginning of my academy. And then a couple of years after that, in 2018, 2 years after that actually, we had the opportunity to switch, and we moved to a new academy, which was this one right here. So we had 15 computers on the academy. It was such an amazing experience back then. It was a lot of students. But the thing is, it was all local students, right? Like we were not teaching online. I was not doing YouTube. I should, by the way, I should have been doing YouTube at that point, but I was not. And all of this was local students working on 3D e-learning, ZBrush, and all that stuff. And then after that, unfortunately, the pandemics hit, and we lost everything. I had to sell everything. I had to sell all the computers. I had to sell the equipment, the desks, the chairs. We lost the place. Like, yeah, it was harsh on everyone, right? So that's how Critical Hit started, and that's why I got the logo, sort of like a remembering that time when I was teaching. And around that time, a little bit before the pandemic hit, that's when I started doing the tutorials, and that's how I started getting more traction online. And yeah, Sarn is completely right. If it wasn't because of that, we wouldn't be here. So it's always this sort of like bittersweet moment, because I really enjoyed back then what we did with Critical Hit. But yeah, we're now in a new stage, and I've been meeting so many new people like you guys, so many supporters, and it's been just amazing. Let's see. What about ArtStation? I heard they take less fees. Yes, the thing I'm a little bit scared about ArtStation is that you need to upload the software, and piracy can become a little bit more easy. I know my courses have been pirated already, like all of the ones that we've done, unfortunately. So yeah. Cruise 3D, you basically got critically hit by COVID. Yeah, they fucked us up, man. We tried to hold, like I remember still teaching some online classes like for 3 or 4 months, but there was a point where it couldn't have been, like, we just couldn't continue. The Frost Giant, yes. It took me 3 weeks. That was during one of my portfolio classes back at Nomen, and it took me 3 weeks to do. So it was on portfolio, when you're in the last 2 semesters or 2 quarters in Nomen, you pretty much just focus on portfolio, and you need to do 3 projects per term, and you get 3 weeks per project roughly. Do you think you can make it again, the academy? No, not really. I mean, I could, but unfortunately the investment that you need for all the computer equipment and stuff like that is very expensive. That's why we needed to sold everything, because we were still paying for all the computers and all the desks and everything. We got a credit, of course, and we just need to liquidate everything. So unfortunately, Saltillo is a small city. So even though we could do it, my time right now, or at this point in my career, is better spent creating this type of content, because it can reach a bigger audience. We actually need one awesome character animation course, like a Disney. Yeah, that's where I want to bring in my friend Mark, because he has worked on some very like cool animation projects. He is an animator, so I think he could be a way better teacher than I am at that point. Who is my ideal or role model, and what do you want to learn more? That's a great question, Prathamesh. So role models, I got a lot of people that I like genuinely enjoy their content. Like I got some role models in content creation, right? I really like Gary Bishtuk, Gary V, right? Gary V. I really like his style. I feel like very identified with him. He's very energetic, right? So I like his stuff. There's a couple of very famous content creators here in Mexico that I admire as well. And of course, like the big ones. There's one guy that I've always admired, and he's not in the public eye, to be honest. His name is Alessandro Baldassaroni. He's an amazing character artist. He worked at Blur for a long time, and he's really good. And again, he's not like, he's not like a famous guy. Like at least I know that not a lot of people know about him. But Alessandro Baldassaroni is very, like, his stuff is very inspiring to me. I've been inspired quite a bit lately by Brandon Sanderson. I know he's not an artist in like the traditional sense. He's a writer, but his stuff is very inspiring as well. Do you have courses we teach very basics of UV in Maya and texturing in Substance Painter as a workflow? Yes, Musket. So texturing in Substance Painter, we covered on the Blender course, and then on the Maya course, we do cover a little bit about texturing or UVs for textures, but we don't use Substance. I wanted to keep that one very simple. Moose Korean says, hey, I'm from Victoria, Tamaulipas, but moved to Houston, Texas, and I'm not even sure if there's any design labs here, considering that it's a huge city. Yes, of course. Well, I'm not sure if they're in Houston, Texas, Moose, but look for CGBot. Those guys are big. They're always hiring. And they got some cool stuff. It's a good place to learn and to get maybe your foot on the door. CGBot. They're based in both Texas and in Monterey, so you can find some stuff there. Stylized Ramen says, hey Abe, is it better to use surface noise in ZBrush to bake in details or just use Substance Painter and apply textures that way? That's a great question. Kank77, thanks for the follow, man. So I always it's one of those questions that it has so many layers and so many like things that you need to think about. If you know that the model that you're going to be doing is only going to be used in the game, then you can just do it in textures. No need to waste time sculpting and like fighting against the bakes and things like that. Just do it in textures. That's it. However, if that model might be used on a cinematic, might be 3D printed, might be used in other type of material, and you need that detail to be present, so it's not only baked in but actually like geometrically sculpted, then doing the noise or the texture in ZBrush is a good idea. However, if you're gonna be heavily decimating your character in ZBrush, then you don't really need to add it because you're gonna lose it. You're not gonna be able to keep all of that like super fancy noise. So it's a lot of like options that you have, and it really depends on the problem. I think one of the things that I struggled with the most when I was learning is that I always wanted to make everything so that it was as flexible as possible. Like I would do a model and I would do it with displacement maps, with normal maps, decimated, so that I could 3D print it. I could do it in games, I can do it in cinematics, and it's just a lot of time, right? You spend a lot of time doing that, when usually in production, if it's a game, it's a game. That's it. You don't need to have all of the details. You don't need to have like an amazing amount of like sculpted effects. It's just a model. It's just for the game. You do it in textures and you forget about it. Then later on, if the client wants to do a short or a video or something, you charge them again, and then you do the model for the short or for the video or for the render, because that's the reality. Production works very, very differently than when you're doing something for yourself. This is Kank says, hey, remember me? The guy who can't adjust the brush size. I asked you a question and you damn me. Of course, man. I've progressed a lot in the course. I'm up to the first lesson of the main character, but I don't feel ready. What do you think I should do? I made bird and snake skulls as an exercise. I would say still go ahead, like start working on the character, and then if you feel like it's not looking nice, just start over. Like doing it multiple times, like the more you do it, the nicer it's gonna get. Or try doing some parts of the character. Try just doing the face section first. Don't do the whole body, just do the face, work on the primary forms, things like that. And once you feel comfortable, you start working with the rest of the element, okay? Have you done a course on sculpting and 3D printing a figurine? I did, which I also wanna change. Let's see if it shows right here. There you go. So it was the Gavala course for Nextdude. I did this sort of like Egyptian goddess sort of thing, which is part of my D&D campaign, which is like the main villain. Oh my god, this guy actually painted it. That's pretty cool. I mean, I think he ripped it and he's selling it as if it's his own. Oh, no, it's free. Okay. I mean, it's still, he shouldn't be supposed to be selling it or giving it away. You should be getting the course, but that's pretty cool. Look at this. Like, you guys know how good it feels to see your creation out there? It's pretty nice. Yeah, Ed on the YouTube, he designed this one as well. I printed my own, of course, for the course. So this is my Gavala printed statue. I haven't painted it myself. I probably need to do it. I don't think that's mine. That one looks a little bit odd, to be honest. I think he did sculpted this one on his own. I'm not sure. I'm trying to compare some of the... Yeah, he changed it. I think he changed it. Because the proportions do look a little bit different. Like my feet is buried under the fire sort of thingy. But yeah, he did a good job though. Not bad. I definitely want to do another course about 3D printing. I definitely want to do another one. Yeah, he did a great job with the painting model. Let's see. My late Christmas gift to you. Dude. Steve Bauer, don't do this, man. Don't do this to me. Dude, that's amazing. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Año Nuevo. Hopefully you will contribute changing the world with your courses and with your content. I love what you guys do and you are my inspiration. Lots of love from Austria. Would really have the pleasure to wear the t-shirt with your logo. My friend, I'm gonna cry, man. Thank you very much. You didn't have to do this. I'll send you a t-shirt. Once it's ready, I'll send you a free t-shirt. That's on me. I'll see how I can do it. I went to Austria several years ago. It was one of my favorite places to visit. Like the history and everything was just amazing. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try something. All 1 second. Vielen Dank, mein Freund. Das Gift ist sehr gut. Hopefully that was not a horrible German, but I did take German in my high school. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And believe me, that donation right there, those bits, they're gonna go to improve this channel. The next one is I wanna change the microphone to get a better one. So thank you for the support, man. It really, really, really means a lot to us, and to me, of course. This one, I haven't finished this one. I need to finish this one. I got the 3D print ready. I just need to paint it. This Kindred mask that we 3D printed. You guys see it, right? Thanks, my friend. Let me bring the mask real quick. This is the 3D printed mask. So as you can see, it's quite big. It's quite nice. This could definitely be used for like a cosplay or something. I'm not gonna dress as Kindred. Doesn't matter how many bits you guys send. I'm definitely not gonna cosplay Kindred. But I definitely need to paint it purple and a couple whites and things like that too, to make it look really, really nice. But this was a fun project as well that we did earlier this year. Let's see. Yeah, we talked about retopology. We actually, I think we just see remesher there, and then this is for displacement. This is a question that I get asked quite a bit about, like how to, what's the word? How to make sure that you get the most detail on your render, and you need to use displacement. Do you know any Polish words for scientific purposes? No, I don't. I know Italian, a little bit of Italian. Io non posso parlare italiano. That's what I know how to say. I don't know how to speak Italian. Aqua, I think is albero. Is that tree? I think it's tree. I know English, of course, Spanish, and Dutch. Dutch, I do. Wenn ich in der Schule war, habe ich Deutsch gelernt. I think that's how you say it, roughly. I always struggle with verbs and like conjugation. But when I was at school, I learned German. I actually got like my certificate and everything. I think I got like a B1 like a certification or something, but it's been so long. I still listen to German music though. Ich bin... I don't know. Yes, forgot how to say listen. What's the name of this, guys? I've been listening today. Drei Meter Feldweg. 3 Meter Feldweg. It's a band I've been hearing. Ja, success is gute Arbeit, my friend. Danke. Will you be making a new one like the Gavala course? Yes, I do want to make a new 3D printing course like the Gavala one. So like a statue, but they're more like a more interesting one. Ramstein. Yeah, the Ads, I think that was another band that I used to hear quite a bit. That one was a nice one. A little bit more old school. German is on another level. I learned during my high school. It's very interesting. The conjugation of verbs and the 3 pronouns that you normally use, like der, die, and das. That was the thing that like got me the most. I'm confused about which field I should go in 3D CG student. What do you like? Is there a specific part of 3D that you like? That's how you start. Priyanshu asks a very important question about 3D. She's asking, I'm saying she. No, you're not a she. Why am I? I think I saw Priya and I think, was her name Priya? Where did I see? No, in Big Bang Theory, right? The Rash's sister in Big Bang Theory, her name was Priya. But no, I'm just assuming. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. But I think Priya is usually a female name, right? And I think it's a relatively common Indian name. Sorry about that. So, is it mandatory to do assets in trees? Yes, it is. Ideally, whenever you bring an asset to an engine, it will automatically be triangulated, at least at render time. So if you triangulate your assets, you have a little bit more control over the whole thing. Razor says, I have a really important question. Why do we remesh a high poly sculpt only to subdivide and project it? Does it make it high poly again? Yes, it makes it high poly again, Razor, but thanks to the fact that we have subdivisions, we can go to the low subdivision level and get something that's very important. UV maps. If you have a very dense like Dynamesh mesh, you can of course Dynamesh or get UVs, but it's going to be a little bit more complicated, and it's easier for the software to work with subdivision workflow than it is to work with a very high poly count. And if you have UVs, it's easier to texture, it's easier to bake, it's easier to do a whole bunch of things. So that's why it's very, very important to have a subdivision workflow for assets like this one's right here. Trustre says, what is your dream game, Abraham? Which made you want to recreate the character from it? Mine is Final Fantasy X, a PlayStation 2 game from 2001. I hope I can do it in 2 or 3 years from now. That's a great question. See, I don't usually get it from games because I've kind of like drilled it into my mind that's already done, so like there's no need to do it myself. But one thing that I've been wanting to do quite a bit is from books. So there are book things that I read about and it's like, oh, it would be so cool if I did a character with this sort of like description. So like lately I've been reading Brandon Sanderson, the Stormlight Archives, and they have an armor called a shard plate. I was like, oh, it would be so cool if I could do a shard plate. But I'm thinking about the game, like a character from a game that I'm really like inspired by and that I would like to do in 3D. Well, Zero Suit Samus has always been a very like interesting character, but it's a little bit too risky online to do something like that. He can get very weird very fast. Your name is Khan. There you go. Thank you, Khan. Oh, it's on the Discord. Okay, cool. Yeah, the Discord has a small little filter, guys. So if you join the Discord and you don't see things, just wait a couple of minutes and we'll get it sorted out. It's to avoid scammers and stuff like that. Which software have an excellent hard surface modeling, Maya or ZBrush? I prefer Maya because I'm more used to the traditional sort of like support edge workflow, but ZBrush has some really powerful tools. If you don't care about like destructive sculpting and you are going to be retopologizing, then ZBrush wins by far. Let's see. Oh, we did a let's play. This was a complete failure. I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it, but this is the stream where I realized that I cannot do let's plays because I get too focused and too in the game, and I'm not talking, and I'm not doing jokes or anything. So we're probably not gonna have this sort of content here on the channel. Found it better to see remesh, then project, and then decimate for a cleaner model for 3D printing as well. I haven't tried that workflow, Stiefelbauer, but that sounds interesting. Is it okay to use an AI concept for making portfolio piece? Oh, it's a gray area, man. It depends. Again, AI is really interesting because it is a cool tool, but it is Gorehound and Dishra. Thanks for the follow, guys. How close are we to our... Oh no, we're still a little bit away from the follower goal. So yeah, it's a complicated thing because okay, let's put an example. If you go online or if you go to Midjourney and you do, actually let me show you. So I got some. I've been using Midjourney for my D&D games. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Okay, for instance, this one. So let's say I want to do a female strong character. There we go. This is a Midjourney created character. Would I be wrong in using this AI or this AI generated image to create my portfolio? I personally would say no. Like, I mean, does this look very similar to other artworks out there? Yes. Is it derivative? Yes. Is it original? Not really. It's very like generic, right? But if I use this one, you're not really hurting anyone, I would say. And that's kind of been my way to measure whether AI is supposed to be good or not. Like if you're hurting someone, then that's a problem. Now, if you, however, go online and you look for, let's say, a character like, I don't know, let's say... like Astarion, right? From Baldur's Gate, very famous character nowadays, or Kratos from God of War, and you use AI to generate your own version of Kratos, and then you do it for your portfolio, I would say that's risky. I would say that's not ideal. That's like a little bit unethical. So it's one of those things that can be a little bit complicated. Cruz, yes, we do feedbacks, my friend. Every month we do a portfolio review. And Dirash, thank you, my friend, for the gift. You gave a gift to Lele Sardunoxian. There you go. And Kongs, just subscribe. Thanks for the sub, man. Yeah, it's a good tool. Remember, guys, AI, it's not gonna wait. It's not going away. I've been saying three things about AI ever since it started. First, it's not going away. We need to forget that it's gonna just like be deleted from the world. It's not gonna away. It's not going away. It can hurt people. It can hurt artists. It can hurt us, programmers, anyone. It can be a hurtful tool. But also, it's a tool. So if you use the tool in a way that does not hurt someone and you can generate something that's useful to you, I would say go for it. Because there's always going to be a market for that type of stuff, right? But yeah, that's... Is there any AI tool? There's been a couple of ones that I've seen. I think one's called Genie or something that's doing 3D models. But here's the thing, even with AI and Ed Fox, the concept artist here, I'm not sure if you're still here in the chat, man, but we've been talking about that quite a bit. And he, as a concept artist, he says the problem is a lot of the stuff that you get is not polished. So you're still going to have to paint over it. And if you don't know how to do it, then AI is not really going to be worth it for you. Same for 3D. Like, there will be AIs that will do 3D, like a barrel or a cone or a bench or a house. But if it's not optimized, if the textures need to be changed, you're going to need to know how to do it traditionally. And yes, it's going to save you a lot of time because the model is already going to be there, but you're still going to do a lot of work. So yeah. Oh, this one was a fun one. The Medusa one. This was the secret project. This was the birthday stream. Was that the birthday stream? I think so. Another stream right there. The coins. That was with XGen. Tadeo, what's up, my friend? Tadeo was one of my first students. You saw him in one of the photos that I just showed you a couple of minutes ago. He was sitting there learning, and now he's a pro artist. He's been doing 3D for a long time as well. Barjasi, what's up, my friend? I'm doing great. No, you're not late. We've been just having fun. We actually haven't done any 3D. We've just been talking and having a great time, I think. Have you guys been enjoying the stream so far? I've been just having a blast. Corehound, hi, how are you doing? Your premium courses and free courses on YouTube help me a lot in my work. I've been following your tutorials and tips. Thanks, my friend. I'm glad it helps, Corehound. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Hi, Nilesh Samantha RMC 53 on YouTube. This is another one that I want to do. This is like what I was telling you guys earlier. Like, I definitely want to do a premium course about like a little environment inside of Unreal. So I will teach you how to do this modularly, how to use tileable texture, trim sheets, how to optimize elements, and then get them into a game engine. And that concept was a very fun one. Can we have a quick substance painter wood material? What do you mean? Like a quick tutorial here? I think I've done a lot of wood tutorials. This was a very fun one. This Max 6 Robotics is a game that a student made, and he was very thankful, and he was like, hey, we did this as a project and we wanted to share a key with you, and they shared with me and I did a review. Really cool game. If you want to support indie games, this one's on Steam. Max 6 Robotics. I was super proud of this thumbnail. I was like, oh, I did an amazing thumbnail. Looks super cool. And then the video, it didn't. I mean, it was a good video, but we didn't get as many views as I thought. And I understand why, because it's a more complex topic with animation. But I was super proud of this thumbnail. I even added like the motion blur and everything. I was very, very happy with that one. Anacletus right there. No, I won't be angry, man. Don't worry. A realistic wood. Let's see. Let me see if we have a sample here. So wood is one of those things that you need to be very careful about when you're working on it, because wood can be very simple and it can be very tricky. And as with everything, you need to have wood. I like to do like old wood. For instance, if I look for old wood table and look at what you're watching. Actually, I have one right here. Let me show you guys. I did this. Where is it? So I did a table not too long ago. Oh, I think I did it on my other computer. Did I? Let me check real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, I think that's a shame. I'll show you here. It's very easy. I'll show you a trick that makes things look very nice. So let's open a sample. Let's do tiling material. So let's do old wood tiling material. If you have one scene with multiple objects, you can do them one by one or by layers. Both of those work. I'll cover that. I'll probably cover that in the substance course. But usually, if each object has its own material, you're gonna have the textures separated over here in the texture set list bow. So you're gonna be able to select each one of those. Okay, here we go. So I would start with a basic wood element like this H wood walnut. There we go. Now this one, as you can see, has height information. I don't want to use tessellation, so I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna disable tessellation. One thing that you're gonna notice about wood is that it can be very grainy, right? So you can see like all of the pixels on the elements right there, and I don't particularly like it. This one has a nice textures to it, so we can use this one. I have a couple of extra ones that I've downloaded throughout the years, but actually let's use that one, the wood plane. I was a little bit sad that they changed the default materials. You can get them still if you go to Substance Share, but there we go. So if we take a look at the reference, you're gonna see that an old table has like scratches and things like that, right? Well, like all of the scratches and bits and stuff like that. So we know that underneath this table, there's gonna be another type of table, right? And a new type of wood. So I'm gonna go to this wood right here. And I'm going to first make it a little bit rougher. So I'm gonna increase the roughness. And I'm gonna bring the color down. 1 second. And we're going to try to saturation. There's technical parameters. I'm going to bring the luminosity down. There we go. So it's a little bit of a darker wood. There we go. So now I'm going to add a new layer, and it can be this like wood rough layer. Let's say it's going to be underneath. So this one, I'm going to remove the height information on this wood rough. So it's not contributing to the height. There we go. And then I'm going to right click, add a black mask on the top one. And I'm going to add a fill layer. And this fill layer is going to be some sort of like a grunge mask. Like I have a couple of grunge masks that I did myself, like this one right here. And it's very cool. That one's like splattered. But you can like just use whatever grunge, like this one right here. And we can like play with the stuff here. This is of course a tileable texture. So this thing, as you can see, is showing the other side. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. I feel like it looks better this way. There we go. And you can see again on the reference that usually there's going to be like a darker wood and then the dirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this thing. And I'm going to go to the grunge that we have right here. I'm going to change the color of this one. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Again, with the technical parameters. And then on this element right here, I'm going to change the balance. So as you can see, we're eating away from the element and we get this very nice variation where the wood is very dark and then it goes into a light and then it goes into the actual like element. And that way we get this very like interesting looking effect. How to avoid tiling? Yeah, triplanar is usually better if you want to avoid tiling. That would be one way to do it. Now, one of the things that you can do here, for instance, is I'm going to add another layer. I'm going to add something like this. I'm just going to add a black mask. This one's going to be another fill layer. I'm going to add some scratches. Those ones are always cool. You can play around with the amount of scratches. You can push the scratches in. And usually, I always do something that my good friend Edfox here told me. But you can use, of course, the blending modes to make this thing look a little better. So for instance, if these are yellow, right now this yellow is way too bright. But if we change this to multiply, it's going to be very, very dark. And if we change this to linear dodge, it's going to be even brighter. We can go to overlay and kind of like blend it together. And you can play with the color and the overlay to generate some like interesting effects. In this case, I kind of want to make them dark. And actually, I'm going to go linear dodge. They're going to be bright, but then I'm going to like really reduce the intensity there. And the roughness is going to be very rough, right? Because it's supposed to be scratching the wood. So you can play around with all of these layers and generate a very nice element. Now, a very important, this is one of the mistakes that I see a lot of people make when they're texturing. They will not change or add variation to the glossiness of your objects. Right now, as you can see, the glossiness is very similar. You can press the letter C and go to your channel option. You're going to see here, this is the roughness. The colors are very, very similar. So what can I add here? Let's add some stains. So I'm going to add just a dark color. That's going to be very bright, right? On this guy right here. Like varnish or oil or something. And then I'm gonna add another fill layer, and here we could use this grunge right there. Just add a couple of spots here and there. See that? That makes the whole thing way more interesting. Then if you need to like lower this down, you can go to the roughness. No need to even blend it, just like play with the opacity and stuff. And that's gonna give you a wood surface, like an old wood surface that looks very nice. So texturing, I would say the secret to texturing, it's all about adding complexity, like adding like stages or steps on the whole thing, and just like generating these sort of like layers that allow you to create a history and a story on your element and just make it look a little bit nicer. Let's see, let me answer some more questions because I got a little bit carried away with this one. Yeah, right, Daniel, we were all very skinny 10 years ago, man. Today I learned from you that I can bake with opacity for my channel. Yes, you can bake. I haven't done one on this channel, but I definitely need to do that. Paras is asking, hey Abraham, the tutorials you create on YouTube and your premium courses, are they usually focused on gaming industry standards point of view? Yes, I would say like 80% of the stuff that I do is focused towards gaming, because that's the experience that I have. Like most of the projects that I've worked on have been for games and gaming sort of stuff. I've done a couple of like renders and architectural visualization and things like that, but most of the stuff has been for games. So I would say I'm more game focused in that sense. I actually don't watch a lot of films, to be honest. Does anyone know what happened with Quixel Mixer? It got integrated into Unreal, I think. It just got like deprecated. Like I don't think it's available anymore, Essentials. Do you have any tip on making puddle on floor in Substance? Yeah, like I just did right here. All of these are puddles. Like if you really want to push it, you can use height. Like this. Let's say we want to do like blood splatters, right? So this is going to be like crimson red. It's going to be quite rough. I'm even going to add a little bit of metallic to it. Black mask. And then we can add a fill layer. And I have this one, which is like drops. Then of course, this one doesn't have things, so we need to add a levels to control it. There we go. I would definitely set this color to overlay, so it kind of like goes into the table. Look at that, beautiful. This is way too much, of course, right? But you get the deal. And we can play with these values right here to get like more condensed, like splatters of blood, or less condensed. And then here's the secret: you go to this one, you go to the height information, and you push the height up a little bit, just a little bit. Very common mistake. People just like crunch this up like this. This sucks. If you do this, I'm gonna, like, if I were your teacher and you did this, I would flunk you. Like, you will fail my class. This is not what you should do. Like, height should always be like 0.0 something, 0.01, 0.02, like subtle. If it pushes like this, it should be an extra geometry. Simple as that. You never want to use your height to push things too much. So something like that. And as you can see now, this looks like blood is actually pooling on top of the wooden board, and it shines, right, like blood. So yeah. What is the level thing? You guys have never seen the levels before? So a levels is a histogram that tells you where your values are. So by default, your values are going to be like this. Okay. Press. Go here to the mask. There we go. So you can see right now, this mask right here, right, has certain amount of white, certain amount of black, and certain amount of grays, like in betweens. And they're distributed in this curve. So if you take a look at the curve, you're going to see that most of my colors are on the white side of things, and we have very few blacks. If I want to have more contrast, if I want to have more black pixels, I can push this level so that we get more, this level right here, so that we get more black pixels. Okay, so we start cutting, kind of like collapsing all of those elements and getting more contrast. If we push the midtones towards the whites, we're going to get more intense contrast. And if we push it towards the blacks, we're going to get less contrast. So depending on how we play with this histogram, we're going to get a slightly different effect. And all of this is, of course, going to be reflected on the map itself. So if I want this blood to be, or to have a very like defined element, I need to have a lot of contrast. And as you can see, the border of the blood is going to be very well defined. If I want to be softer, I can push this to the other side, and you can see that the blood is going to kind of like diffuse itself and have a little bit of a softer effect. So it all depends on the kind of like result that you want with your elements, but this levels is a very good procedural way to modify how the values of your pixels are appearing on your element to, again, generate an interesting effect. Can you make a 3D model of Disney cat Pussyk? I don't know who that is, my friend. Disney cat Pussyk? What the hell is a Disney cat Pussyk? Cookie Dab, thanks for the sub, man. I'm not sure I can do it, man. I'm not sure I can do it. Nilesh is saying, please make a full Unreal Engine course, beginner to advanced, and please explain more about blueprints. I love our courses and you can understand it better than my university professor. Yeah, we'll definitely do an Unreal course soon with a little bit of blueprinting and stuff. Have you used Mari for work? Not in a long time. The giant, the blue giant on my portfolio sanctions, that one I did with Mari, but I haven't used it in a long time. And again, it's mainly because the kind of productions that I work on, or the kind of like projects that we do at the studio, we don't really use that many UDIMs. Andy, thank you very much, my friend, for being here. Thanks for being part of this stream. Happy New Year's. We're gonna take a just before you go, we're gonna take a little bit of a break this next couple of days, my friends, and then we'll be back with more content next week. But we got, you know, New Year coming. I got family coming over, so the content of the channel might slow a bit. But next week, back to normal. Videos on YouTube, and of course, our live stream next Friday for our first live stream of the year. So there you go. Let's see. Someone says, I bet if I would be in actual 3D class, my ass would be whooped for the first 6 months at least, and daily. Sir, should an artist keep learning new things and new softwares? Oh, yes. I do that all the time, man. Like recently, I've been learning 3D Code. I've been learning more about Blender. I've been learning about, there was another software that like Embergen for like effects and stuff like that. So I'm always learning new stuff. You know, always learning, always improving. As the motto says. I think Tadeo on YouTube, he has one shirt, because when we had the studio, we made shirts every year, and he has a couple of those, I think. You add all of those details to a substance course? Yes, all of these things that I'm talking about is something that I would definitely be covering on a substance course, like for sure. Can we also see anchor points in action, please? Yes, let's take a look at anchor points. Okay, so let me turn off the blood. Let's say a guy is doing like some carvings, right? And he's gonna do some runes or something. I'm just gonna use height here. Black mask. Let's go to the black mask. And he does like some weird shit. Carven. There we go. Let's be in this one. I am gonna be a little bit more aggressive. There we go. So he just starts like carving and stuff, like markings or whatever. The problem with all of these markings that I'm adding right now is that even though they look very nice, like as if they were carved, if I were to add a metal edgeware or something on top, right? Let's say I wanted to add a metal edgeware to the wood. It's going to be quite rough. Black mask, and we add a metal edgeware. Metal edgeware works with the edges of an object, and usually the information that you get from the metal edgeware comes from the normal map information, from the bakes. So right now, Substance Painter doesn't know that this hide information exists, and therefore it cannot use it on this metal edgeware right here. So the way this works is you go back to the mask that you painted, or you right click and you add an anchor point at the very bottom part. And I'm gonna call this, for instance, like a, I don't know, scratches AP anchor point. And there we go. So now this anchor point is a way for Substance to retrieve that hide information from this layer so that it can use it on other elements or on other generators. So if I go now to the metal edgeware and we go down here on the micro details, I'm going to turn this on. And then down here on the micro normal and the micro height, I can bring on my anchor point. And as you can see, it's now gonna obey it right there. So now it knows that that height information exists, and now we can use it. Of course, there's a couple of things that we can change. So for instance, we can, where is it? Micro detail. We can change the curvature intensity. We can change the intensity over here, the radius, the curvature. We can change it to standard or smooth, depending on what we want. But this pretty much tells, like, substance that this information, this height information exists. And by having that information exist, now we can fill it with whatever we want. So instead of having to go to ZBrush, paint all of these elements, and then bake them down, we just used anchor points to get this in here. Thanks, King's here. No, don't worry, don't worry. You're just in time. We're still gonna go for a little while more. Let's see. Hey, learning the new softwares and new skills is all fun, but won't we forget them if we want? Yeah, you need to use them, of course. Like, it's obvious you need to use them, man. Like, if you that's what happened to me and Mari. I learned Mari several years ago. Now I don't remember how Mari is used. So of course, if you go back and try to relearn it, the learning curve's not, or should not be as high, but you're still gonna have to learn it. Let's see. Alpha Omega is Alpha Omega says, hey, can you make a short video, maybe an Instagram reel, about how to promote your 3D art on social media, Instagram and so on? I would love to post my 3D, but I'm out of ideas because it takes me too long to make a model. Sure. How to promote a model or a work on socials. I mean, it really has no science. You just like post it. Post it, add some hashtags, tag some people. That's it. How do you learn new softwares, and what is a better way to learn from the institution or self-taught? I would say it comes to you might come into a point in your career where learning from an institute might not be as efficient because you need to wait for the teacher to teach you specific things, and self-taught, you can like go at your own speed. However, it is very important to always have a mentor of some sorts, like or people that you look up for and you analyze what they're doing, because if you just try to do it and discover things by yourself, it's gonna be very difficult. So having someone that has gone through the things that you're trying to learn is always just like faster in that case, because you just save a lot of time. So that's where tutorials, I think, come into place, because even if you don't go to a school, if you watch a tutorial, you're learning from that specific person, and that specific person is going to be teaching you something. Like I do that constantly. I go to the source of the softwares, to the documentation, and all of the tutorials and the instructions that they're writing there. Someone is writing those, and I learn from those, and that's how I present or prepare my information for you guys. Corey says, hey, it's been a while since we messaged each other and I want to improve my modeling skills and know more about Maya. I finished your chess modeling series and I feel ready to continue on the Dark Souls door. Thank you for your help as of now, and I really feel improvement as a beginner Maya user, as an artist in general. Hey, I'm glad it works, my friend. Why don't you do some 3D? Yes, we are thinking about the 3D challenges for Discord. The problem with that is that we might need to start with challenges that might not have any like gift or any price because of the budget that we have for this whole thing. But we definitely will be doing that very soon, like something to kickstart the weeks. Let's see. One last question, right, Racer. How can we convert any image to black and white so we can use it as a brush alpha? I mean, Photoshop is usually the way to go, but I've got a video on the YouTube channel on how to get height information, because it's not the same thing to just convert an image to black and white than it is to make it height information. And usually you want to have the height information so that you can get it nicer. What will the UE course? Yeah, most likely environment. Can we export polypaint as multi-texture maps without going to any other? Yeah. And can you use that for production? Yeah, it can possibly be used for production. However, if you're exporting polypaint, that means that your model is not decimated, or it's decimated or something. So it probably won't be optimized for rigging and animation. If it's just a still thing that's going to be there on the background or something, fine. I mean, you can use it. But for a character, you usually want to go through the process of subdiv, UVs, bakes, all that stuff. Let's see. Some guy is talking something that I don't understand. Phones, I don't know what you mean, man. I don't even know who you're talking to. Have you ever made cobweb spider web primarily used for BD gamers? How would you approach it? Yes. So the cobwebs or elements, it's just transparency. You just want to do a transparency map. So like an opacity map. That's the cheapest way to do a cobweb. So just get some images or paint them yourselves in Photoshop. Just get a black and white image. It's going to be your mask. That's it. If you actually want to get all of the strands, I believe there are some Blender plugins that are really good. But again, it goes into the expensive territory of you're going to have to render every single curve as a cobweb. There's a very good one in Maya, but it's paid. I haven't used it in a while. Is there a video that covers high poly to retopology in Maya? I watched the texture and 3D code software. Don't know if there were a video. No, I didn't do the retopology for the Mind Flayer, but yeah, it was one. Yeah, it looks like Phones is just randomly spamming words or something. There's a guy on YouTube just saying. Let me show you here because I do have a retopology. I think have I not done retopology? Pretty sure I've done retopology. We're going over this. Let me check real quick. Ahmed CC, thanks for the follow, man. Gorehound, I'll answer your question in just a second. The answer is yes, but I'll explain why in just a second. Because I've been asked that before. Trying to see if we did retopology. I'm not sure I have done retopology. It's like I haven't. I should have. No, I think I owe you that one, man. I haven't done a retopology video. The thing about retopology is it doesn't get views. That's the problem. It's a content that not a lot of people watch. It's very important, but not a lot of people watch it. I mean, we did this one. We did the retopology for the head, for Strat's head. So it's like retopology for the face. You might want to check that one out because it follows a very similar process to what I would have done with the character. How do they simulate muscles in big VFX movies? I mean, what software they use? Siva. It is available for the public. Yes, it's called Siva FX. Siva FX. That's one. There's multiple. Like Weta Workshops, the guys that do Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and stuff like that, they have their own like a proprietary one. I think it's based on this one, or this one's based on that one. But this one's like the one that's commercially available. It's not cheap, guys. This is why I mean, like, this is not the sort of stuff that you're gonna be using on your like personal portfolio or personal project because it's expensive. Like, let's take a look at how much this costs. Like, if you don't see the price immediately, that tells you that it's gonna be expensive. Siva VFX. There you go. 60 to 95 more a month. You can use this one academic to learn about Siva, but if you're going to be using it's at least $50 a month. Indie, there you go. So this will be like the price. So $50 a month, it's quite expensive. I believe Blender 4.0 has a new retopology add-on or something like that, but did not look into it. For Blender, I like to use RetopoFlow. I believe it has been updated for Blender 4.0 and it's really good. RetopoFlow, I really like it. To be honest, back in the day, I used to use Topogun, but again, it's just like extra software that you need to buy, and it becomes unaffordable. Topogun 3 is now available, and it's really good. It's very, very good. You can do a lot of very cool things with retopology, and it's a nice software, but it's an extra cost, so you don't always want to be like buying more and more softwares. Happy New Year, Gotham Burma. Happy New Year, my friends. So yes, I did live next to who was asking there? Gorehound. I did live next to it earlier this year because we had some creative differences on how we wanted to keep like creating content and things like that. I wanted to do more stuff like our Discord, like contests and things like that, and the direction was just like we were not in the same direction, right? And at the end, I felt more comfortable starting my own stuff and just following my heart, even though that sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's the reality. I did a video recently. It's like you should never work for a project or work somewhere that you don't feel completely comfortable, and that was starting to happen to me. Like I was not feeling completely comfortable. Someone's trying to hack my Twitch because I got my 2-step verification code. No, I'm smarter than that, guys. Let's see. Iveshki says, I'm curious how much freelance work as a 3D artist should do besides daily work. I mean, is it necessary for a junior, mid, or even senior to do that? No, it's not necessary. Freelance is if you need more money. That's about it. If you need more money, then freelancing is a great way to do it. For instance, in my case, I don't do a lot of freelance nowadays. I would say half of my income is this, the channel, the courses, and all that stuff. And the other half is the studio work that I do. We recently finished a project that is doing well right now. And that's like, we're actually... Yeah, it's like 40% studio work, 40% courses, and then 20% the classes that I teach at universities. So that's like roughly my my income. I don't do a lot of freelance, but if someone says, hey, can you do this? And I know it's gonna take me like an hour or two, and it's just like $50, $100, I'll do it. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to $50. So yeah, what's your favorite art style in any form, 2D or maybe 3D? That's a great question. So I would say hand painted is one of my favorite ones, to be honest. What they did for Arcane was just freaking amazing. It was just like unbelievable. So if I could do, or if I could work on a game or a production, I would definitely like to work on something like this. It's just like so cool. When I was younger, I loved the Blizzard cinematics, this sort of like realistic cartoony look. But now that I've grown older, I've kind of gravitated towards this sort of like stylized effect. So yeah, this is probably the style that I like the most right now at this point in my career. But I have some advice on my Substance Painter textures. If I put in the Discord, I don't know, I feel like I'm missing something. Sure. I mean, I might not be able to do it right now on the stream, Major, but just drop it them and I'll take a look. Yeah, last stream you guys were launching something. You were getting messages. Did it go well? What was it? Oh yes, it was the winter sale. This one. The winter sale for the courses. It was nothing like, it's just the courses that we released this last year. So this is what we did. This is fully hand painted. Arcane, yes, Arcane is fully hand painted. We have this one in Maya as well. Morph target. Portfolio reviews, of course. Oh, that one was very fun. I actually have my little keycap. I 3D printed that one. The file is available in Gumroad, by the way, if you guys want to get it. Live stream. Oh, I like this one. I'm gonna finish this character as well, this dwarf. I'm a huge fan of dwarves. I don't know. I like them. Yeah, portfolio. We did a lot of portfolios. This was the axe, the extra class for the axe. Just V and ramp. Oh, sorry. That was the render. How to improve a render. Retopology, rigging, controllers. That was when we sculpted. So if you guys are looking for the sculpting session, this is the video that you want to look for on YouTube. This was the sculpting session that we did. This is the sculpting basics for Blender. Sculptober was fun. I loved that one. That was a good event, I think. And then the shield is also available. This is a great way to start on Maya, by the way. If you want to model something like an asset, I show you how to do this. No sculpting, it's all textures. So also if you're looking for some Substance Painter basics, this one's a good one. When will the next preview be? On January. We're gonna be opening the submissions as soon as January starts, and we'll have one. Let's check the calendar. It's gonna be January 19. That's gonna be the next portfolio review. Yeah, that's right. January 19. Skin texture. Sandeep, thanks for the message, man. Yeah, we just got to 7K here on YouTube as well. I've always wanted, it's kind of like my secret sort of desire, goal, to have the little YouTube plate, you know, that 100K subs. We'll get there. I know it's not gonna be soon. It's gonna take a while, but all right, well, who knows, right? Maybe we go viral or something, but hopefully one day we'll have the little plate somewhere around here. I don't know, it feels like a really cool goal to have, to get to 100K. Starfield. No, the fast stitches. If you haven't seen this tool, it's the new spline tool that's inside of Substance. They've actually been working on it a little bit more. It's very cool. A lot of control. And this is what we were talking about. Like, you don't always need to sculpt everything inside of ZBrush. You can do it directly here inside of Substance for the textures if it's going to be for a game character. Yes, we will have another competition, Aki. We will have our new contest, and we'll do it there. We'll have new rules and stuff as well. Make sure that we are as fair as possible to everyone. More gaming! Welcome back, man! I would love to learn how to hand paint like Arcane, but I never even draw. See, I suck at drawing. I really suck at drawing, and I would like to know how to draw as well, but I suck at drawing. Like, there's this other artist that I really like. His name is Wayne Reynolds. And he has this amazing sketch style. Look at this. Freaking awesome, right? Look at that. I would love to know how to draw like this, but I can't. Like, my lines are so ugly, like so ugly. So I could never draw like this. But I feel I'm way better at sculpting and painting, so that's what I do. I just sculpt and paint. What's your thoughts on VR sculpting? It's a cool stuff. I mean, VR, I like VR. We do a lot of VR development, but it gets tiring on the eyes. I couldn't see myself like sculpting 2 hours straight on VR, to be honest. Most 3D artists can relate this thing of sucking at drawing. Yeah. I could definitely practice more gaming. I could definitely practice. Is traditional sculpting experience important to be good at digital sculpting? It helps. It's not mandatory. I've seen amazing people who have never sculpted in real life. I did sculpt, like traditionally sculpted a little bit. So I do think it helps. Have you made any real life sculpts? Yes, I have. Let me see. Trying to think where I have. Because I did a very big character. Trying to think where I have it. It's on a hard drive somewhere. I'm trying to think if I have it on my Facebook. Let me check my Facebook real quick. Oh no, but I don't have my personal Facebook on. I'll owe you that one, guys, because I did sculpt a very big bust in Sculpting 3 back at Noman. I did several sculptings back at Noman, but several sculptures back at Noman, so I do have some stuff. How can we create custom brush stroke or curving zippers to get hard surface panel lining? You don't really need to. You don't really need to create a custom brush. There's one brush right there that's already does that. It's called the chisel brush. Show you. So this one's very good to do like cyber stuff. Brush, chisel, brush, this one. So you get all of the steps, and if you press shift, wait a second, it's not drag right. You're gonna go to freehand, of course. There you go. As you can see, it has lazy mouse, so you can press shift and then just drop it, then click shift and drop it, click shift and drop it. And it's going to give you that sort of like paneling effect that you might be going for. Of course, sci-fi and hard surface stuff, you need a lot of geometry. So just click, shift. There you go. Know what I mean? So that's one way to create like those section lines, I would say. Chisel works like layer brush with morph target too. No overlapping after. Yeah. From which country are your majority of students from? Last time we checked, what was it, Sarn? I think we got a lot of people from the United States, and then India, of course, and then a lot of European countries and Mexico. I think those are like our 4 main like hubs, I would say. Like India, the US, Mexico, and then Europe. But Europe's like all over the place. How can we avoid that? So all of the strokes are in the same height. Like this one's right here. Like all of them are in the same height. The only thing that's like having a little bit of a work or like a work problem is the little element right there. But if you do like that's the cool thing about the chisel brushes. As you can see, the intensity is set to 100. So all of them are at the exact same depth. And again, once you bake this down, yes, right now it looks pixelated. You can, of course, smooth it down a little bit if you want to have it or not see it as intensely. But once you bake it down, a lot of that is lost as well. Have you made any real... No, I already answered that one. How can we avoid the holes with every overlapping stroke? Okay, yeah, that's a very, very, very important question. Let me show you. I'm glad someone finally asked that one, because it's probably one of the things that I see the most, like people struggle with the most. Let's say we're doing like elf ears or something like this, right? If the size of your brush is bigger than the area that you're sculpting, when you sculpt, you're going to be pushing from the back. There's no way to avoid that. So the only option is to make your brush smaller, and that way you don't like hit anything on the back. And another option, if you really want to like sculpt with the big brush, but you don't want to be pushing or pulling from the back part, is per brush. This is a per brush thing that you need to change. You need to go to brush and then auto masking and use this option called back face masking. That way you can sculpt here and it's not going to pull from the other side. And you're not going to have holes, because when you dynamesh that, you're going to have holes. Sir, is it possible to completely learn a software? No, I would say no. And especially this 3D software, there's always something that you're not going to be as proficient at, or that you're not going to know about, and there's going to be a new trick. I've been using Maya for 13 years, and after 13 years, I still learn new things. And some things that might be like super, super basic. Like yesterday, I learned that you can like create like something with just a couple of shortcuts, and I was like, really? 13 years and I didn't know that? Because these softwares are so complex. And what happens is you start getting like very used to specific types of tools and workflows. So if I don't do hard surface inside of ZBrush, I won't know about all of the hard surface tricks inside of ZBrush. And some tricks might not work for me. That's fine. As long as you get to the final result, that's all that matters. In Speedbot Studio says, hey Abe, you have taught me so much about 3D. Thanks a lot, man. You're the best. You are the best. You are the best in Speedbot Studios. And thank you for the support. Do you have a discount for 3D World Country? So Udemy does this thing where they try to price things based on where you are. So you might find some discounts work better on some parts of the world than others. But it tries to always be as fair as possible. I think it does it. Now that we're going to be launching our courses in our own website, we're definitely going to be looking at regional pricing or some sort of like discount that we can offer to certain students that we know can struggle with the pricing of the courses. So we're going to try to be as fair as possible so that we can continue to create content for you guys. Okay. A quick demo on Nanomesh, why and where it's used. Yes, of course. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me open someone. Actually, let me show you something here. Can we do it? Yeah, let's do it. So this is the doctor's mask plate that I've been working on. This is going to be the final example, by the way, guys. We're going to be closing the stream in a little bit. But let's say we wanted to do like a chainmail neck or something, right? So I'm going to go to the neck right here. And I'm going to mask out the area that I'm going to extract. This is very important. So this is the area that's going to be made out of chainmail or cloth or whatever. Like it can be a lot of different things. Let's mask all of that out. There we go. Now I'm going to extract it. So I'm going to go subtool, extract. And we're going to extract with 0 thickness. This is very important. 0 thickness. Hit accept. This is what we're going to get. It's a very basic like mesh right there. The first thing is I want to polish the edges. And then the more uniform your geometry for Nanomesh, the better. So we're going to go polish by features. Polish by groups, like all of this. And now we're going to go geometry and we're going to zero mesh. Of course, the zero mesh will give us a more uniform look on the whole thing. I'm going to say half and zero mesh again. And as we keep going, as you can see, the amount of like squares that we get is less and less. And it also should give us a more organized effect. That one looks quite nice. I'm going to go deformation again. Just going to give it a little bit of polish. As you can see, that kind of like straightens everything up. And it gives us this very nice effect. Now, if we go to geometry, we can go to, where is it? Dynamics of the... Oh, Nanomesh, there we go. So we're gonna go to array mesh. Dynamic subdiv, let's turn it on. You selected. I haven't used it in a while, but what's gonna happen is we're gonna be pretty much creating... We're going to be creating an instance of like a ring or whatever in that thing right there. Where is it? Dynamics of the for chainmail on cloud. Yeah. geometry. Micropoly, there you go. So we're gonna use this micropoly option, and then on all of this, guys, we can grab like this ring right here, and that's what we get. So what's gonna happen is it's using micropoly. It's kind of like a variation of nano mesh and micro mesh and stuff like that. It will just replace each face that you have on your mesh with this element right here. So if we grab something that's more like this knitted effect, look at that. We get this very cool option. Some of these chainmails are very cool because they're actually linked together, like this one right here. And you can see this, like chainmail effect. Okay, you can scale this down, the Z-axis, and you can create your own stuff. We can rotate on X or C. In this case, it was fine right there. Let's change to another one. Yeah, unfortunately, the micropoly are not going to be uniform because the faces are not uniform. So if you want to make sure that they're perfectly uniform, you need to make sure that the faces that you're like attaching to are going to be as uniform as well. And there's another option that we can use here to weld. There we go. I'm going to click this align option. As you can see, that gets aligned a little bit more. But the reason why this is happening is because remember, this mesh right here, this is what we're using. And you can see that these faces right here are very small. So what we could do is we could try to just like make them a little bit bigger with move brush. Okay, and then when dynamic stuff is going to try to relax a little bit. And then all of this geometry, what you're going to be doing is you can just bake it down with opacity and everything, or you can inflate it, convert it into geometry. It's a lot of points though, so make sure that that one works. Make another serial mesh with adaptive. Yeah, we can just like change the serial mesh. The cleaner this is, the nicer they will look. What are trim brushes used for? Trim brushes, I haven't seen them. I'm not sure, Racer. You got so lazy with ZBrush. Yeah. Now what I would normally do with this or like chainmail effects is I would create some sort of border. I'm gonna do a video on chainmail soon. So you would create a border so that it doesn't just like stop on the ring, right? Like you can see the rings there are open. But if you, they did this with Geralt on The Witcher, where it has like a leather strap going around them, and it just looks very nice. Again, all of this would be baked down for a game character, or it could be printed out. This is how I would do chainmail. Cool. So yeah, that's it, my friends. With this, we're gonna be finishing this amazing stream. Again, thank you to our amazing donor today, Razvan Stiefel Bauer, for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who was watching on YouTube. We also got some donations there. And for all of the followers and for all of you guys have been an amazing support for me this past couple of months. And it's been amazing to see that all of this effort that we're putting into creating the content and sharing all of this 3D world with you has been successful. We're gonna keep going. We're not stopping. There's no reason to stop, and I want to keep bringing more and more stuff to you guys. We're gonna do weekly challenges, the live workshop. We're gonna do more premium courses, more live streams, of course, portfolio review, and any ideas that you guys can come up with. So happy new year to everyone. Happy new year. I wish you guys the best for this new year. Let's reflect upon this last year and just like spend some time with our families, have a good time, enjoy, get some energy back, and I'll be seeing you guys back on the next one. Bye bye.